out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
It's gonna be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing if my burglar alarm starts ringing.
What's good? You're tuning to Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad with me. As always, I owe Porsche $20. So she's on strike again. As soon as my cousin gives me back the money that nigga owes me, Porsche, you got your money. What's going on, miss?
Not a whole lot. Sorry, I don't have a camera today. But it's very good to be here. So good to see everybody. Yeah, I'm so excited about this show.
All right, no doubt. I got my brother Rel from the 215. What's going on, good brother?
What's good? Ain't much, man. Just happy to be here as always.
All right, no doubt. My brother Vern out the ATL. What's going on, fam?
Glad to be here. It's good to see everybody except for the people we can't see.
Hey, I get it. You go on strike. You can't cross the picket line. I'm just glad I got her on the show for the night. But I get it. My brother Veg out of Brooklyn. What's going on, fam?
It's good, man. Chilling, man. Happy to be here. Gonna be happier in a second.
I hear you. I hear you, Playboy. I hear you. This week is brought to us by Porsche. So, Porsche, why don't you set us off with where the topic came from and what we're going to be chopping it up about?
Yeah, so I was actually on the phone with one of my homies, good friend, very dope dude. We often talk about hip-hop, and he kind of hit me up like, yo, I have such a dope idea for Kill, for you, if you guys wanted to like take this to the show. And I was like, all right, cool, like what was it? And he was like, it's kind of like a Who Wore It Best but sample edition, so like the equivalent of Hollywood's Who Wore It Best but who used the sample the best. And we kind of talked about like he fired off some tracks, and then we kind of talked about it very like informally over the phone. And then I was like, you know what? This is totally Kill's bag, and I definitely need to tell him about this topic, and I'm sure he'll be able to do great things with it. And here we are. And so big, huge shout out to Chris. He's amazing. So yeah, that's where the topic came from.
No doubt. And for people who have ever watched my pin tweet, me and Nay used to do this thing called Daddy Daughter Digging, where we basically would do the same thing. I play her the original sample, two people who used it, and then she would have to decide who she liked, which one she liked better. So that's what we're going to be doing. What I did for the team was I put together, I think it's about 21 joints on here. I don't know if we'll get through all of them or not. But I sent them all links with the original samples, 2 to 3 people who used them, and then I have an order like who used them first, if they came out at the same time, everything like that, so we can kind of chop it up about this. Porsche, the thing that I love about this topic, it was on point, because I was having a convo about maybe a month ago with a cat on Twitter, and I was saying, I really wasn't messing with Nas If I Ruled the World, because I'm like, he just rhyming over Houdini's friends. And he was like, well, what's wrong with rhyming over a beat somebody already used? And I'm like, come on, bro, like, it's a hip-hop rule. It's like an unwritten hip-hop rule that you just don't do. You know what I mean? Like, we all know what the track masters, for people who may not know what the track masters would do, Tone was the party boy, Pope was the studio dude. Tone would go to the clubs. When the DJ would throw on the old school set, he would listen to see what got people, hype and everything like that. Then we'd take that back to Pope and be like, yo, let's use such and such, because DJ threw on friends and niggas lost their minds. So if we get Nas rhyming over friends, then niggas gonna lose their mind. So for me, it's like, I guess we could talk about that. For me, it's an unwritten rule, you just don't do that. In Scratch Magazine, they used to have this section where they'd ask the producers, what beat do you wish you made? And Primo may say something like, yo, I wish I would have made Cream, or RZA may say, I wish I would have made, they reminisce over you. But if it wasn't an unwritten rule, then you would just do that. You would just be like, oh shit, like Cream was dope. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna use that same shit. But in hip hop, it's like, oh shit, man, you know, he used it first, fuck it, guess we can't use it, you know, or if we gonna use it, let's switch it up, let's do something to do it different or something like that. But what do you feel like, Porsche? What do you feel? Do you feel like it's okay for somebody, and let's not use they reminisce over you because you know how you feel about that. Let's just say, how would you have felt if you heard another MC come out 6 months after you heard J. Rule's Come Clean? Do you think, like, would you be like, oh, that's dope that you use the exact same sample, even if they switched up?
So is it like Ashanti using the One More Chance remix beat? Is that kind of the same thing of what you're talking about?
Nah, but one of the joints on here is an R&B joint, so we will talk about that. But no, I'm talking about
in hip-hop.
Me in Vegas in 1994, 95, whenever I think Come Clean came out, like 94, 95. If J. Rule has Come Clean, everybody loves the sample, and then you see Vegas rhyming over the Come Clean sample produced by Kill. What are you gonna think about that? Are you gonna think that's dope, or are you gonna think that's whack?
It's kind of like what you said. It's like an unwritten rule, and that's why producers really protect how they create the beat, because I feel like, you know, there are some producers we know that will never show how a beat is made or what they do or even what samples they use because they want to avoid this. So for me, yeah, I don't think it's totally cool. I don't know. I don't think it's the dopest thing to do ever, but it happens, I guess.
No doubt. Veg, what about you? What you think, bro?
I think if it was, when that come out? 94?
Let's say 94. Let's say the 12-inch came out in 94. I want to say maybe Sunrise is dropped in 95, but Come Clean and The Dirty Rotten was, you know, definitely out before the album dropped. So let's say 94. So 6 months after you heard Come Clean and everybody loves it, now you hear produced by Kill, Rel and Vern got a group rhyming over the same sample.
I think 94 version of me would have been like, that shit is whack to do that. Because that when I heard that Come Clean beat, I was just like, oh shit, this is otherworldly. So especially at that time to hear somebody else do it, even a year later, I just would have disregarded that shit just off the beat. Could have been spitting, could have been crazy. But today, I feel like there's a way to do that, right? And I don't know if it's maybe the timing makes it a little bit different, like your example of, you know, someone just using it and then here comes another producer using it in the same way. But I think, for example, and this isn't the same thing, but I kind of like it. Meek Mill's been doing that a lot, right?
Yeah, like what was it? What's Beef?
Like making almost like track versions of them, but they kind of maintain the sound, you know, they're updated a little bit. I think I like that a little bit more than someone just verbatim sampling the same thing.
All right, no doubt. Vern, what about you?
This may sound cliche or whatever, but if it's dope, I think 2022. I don't even think the rules necessarily apply like they did. I mean, there was a Jedi ninja code back, like we was in college, like Vague said. But now, man, you know, if the song is dope, and I guess that's subjective as well, but I would prefer not to. It's like it's so many other things you could do. Find another part of it, flip it a different way, do something. But it's kind of lazy. But I mean, people lazy, so.
All right, no doubt. And bro, what you think, bro?
Yeah, I think in 94, like Veg said, 94, I'd have been like, that's wild corny. But I mean, like now, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, the rules have changed a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But again, I would say like this, depending on how you actually do it. Like if you make it dope, or you know what I'm saying, or if you flip it in your own way, then I could probably rock with it, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't prefer it, you know what I'm saying? But it don't disgust me like it would like it would have back in the 90s, you know what I'm saying?
Right. All right, no doubt. Look, the first joint we're going to get into is, and I don't even want to say what the name of the sample is. because I don't want people talking about kill you sample snitching in 2022. Even though whosampled.com, everybody knows.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Neither here nor there. I don't want to be the sample snitch, and so there was a sample use. So we're going to talk about, there are two lines in music that I disagree with, and I think they are lies from the pit of hell. One is Erykah Badu's "I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit." If you're an artist and you're sensitive about your shit, do not press upload, because the second you press upload, you are now open yourself up to critique. So that's number one. So you got mad people be like, yo, Kill, I'm gonna play you my shit, but I'm sensitive. Nigga, then don't play me your shit. Just play that shit to yourself. Play that shit in your whip. Play that shit in your AirPods. Keep that shit to yourself, because the second you press upload or the second you let somebody hear it, you are now open to criticism. The second line I disagree with, and people always get at me on the timeline about the stands and the fans. I'm explaining to y'all the difference between a fan and a stand. I'm about to say something that I totally disagree with, that was said by one of my favorite MCs ever, about a track that was produced by one of my GOAT producers ever, and it's by my second favorite hip-hop group ever, and that's Gang Starr. The other line I disagree with is, rap is an art, you can't own no loops. It's how you hook them up with your rhyme style truth. Now, of course, when I first heard Take It Personal, I was like, all right, that's a dope line. I didn't know who he was talking about. Word gets to air that he's talking about YZ. Now, YZ was this rapper out of Trenton, New Jersey. You know what I mean? South Jersey. Power 99 and 86 used to play a lot of YZ, the Crown Rulers. A lot of people who was from South Jersey was damn near like Philly rappers. For years I thought they was all from Philly because they played them so much. And the name of the song was called In Control of Things. And it's still to this day one of my favorite songs ever. So what happened was, they used this sample. I won't say what it is because I don't want to be sample snitching. So just go look up YZ. And they used it. YZ used the sample. Now, in 1988, Gang Starr comes out with their debut album, No More Mr. Nice Guy. And on the title cut, they use the exact same beat, the exact same way. No chopping, no flipping, no nothing. Now, to put an asterisk on it, Primo will tell you that he was not really producing yet. He was, 86, this was 88, these were the times you would just go to the studio with your records and the engineer would kind of put it together for you. But it hit me because I'm like, yo, bro, Google, how do you get to make up this line, nigga? And you the nigga who stole some shit. That's like a
That's
nigga
why he
going
made
to
it up.
Right, but what I'm saying is that's like going to the mall, stealing some sneakers and getting arrested and being like, nah, you can steal it. Rules, you can do whatever you want. You can take some sneakers and you hook it up. And the other part that's so crazy about that line is how you hook them up with the rhyme style truth. I would think if you're saying something like that, you would mean you changed it. You did something different to it. And I have some examples in here of chop jobs where you can see that the person did something different to it. So you would think coming out of Guru's mouth that there was a different type of track. But so to me, that's a lie from the pit of hell because, nigga, you're the thief. You are the one who did it. And like you said, back in 94, I find it real hard to believe that if I would have used the same Come Clean sample 6 months or a year after Primo, that Primo would have been like, oh, it's cool. Like Guru said, it's how you hook it up. No, niggas would have been like, yo, this motherfucker killed. Who the fuck this nigga killed using the same sample? We didn't do that. I'm not forgetting, in the Scratch magazine, they were interviewing the beat miners, and they was like, yo, what beat you wish you made? He said, yo, we had that Les McCann record that Preem used for 10 Crack Commandments for years. We never thought to use it like that. But, too bad, Preem used it, so it's off the table now. Like, that's the whole point of a producer, is that for us, it's off the table now. Like, we can't use it unless we're going to do something different with it. But let's get started with that joint right there. So we're going to get started with the In Control of Things and basically the No More Mr. Nice Guy from Gang Starr. Porsche, which track, you heard the original, which track did you like better, the YZ or the No More Mr. Nice Guy by Gang Starr?
I like the No More Mr. Nice Guy by Gang Starr.
Okay.
And the reason for that is, for me, like when I went back and listened to all of these tracks, I was kind of trying to think, like, when someone says I used a sample, to me that means like a small part or not a really obvious part. It's like a little taster of, so to speak. So I really favored the track that used it lightly and then made it their own. And to me, Gangstar did that. Like at the beginning of YZ's track, it's like it's the exact same track as the original sample. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I just like Primo scratches in there, and to me, I think that it was used as a sample should be used, like how I would use it if I was going to.
I get what you're saying. The intro he used the intro, but once the beat starts, like once the beat drops, it's the exact same way that Preem used it. I mean, like you said, you like the scratch
part of the beginning was kind of like really like I just finished listening to the original and then I listened to YZ's joint and I'm like really like it sounded like I thought I repeated the original. Do you know what I mean? Until obviously it dropped. So to me, that was how I decided on this one.
All right. For me, it's definitely YZ. I actually thought No More Mr. Nice Guy was whack when I heard it. The first thing out of my head was, y'all really jacked YZ? Like, nigga, this sample been around forever. Like, goddamn, nigga. Like, have you not been listening to the radio? So for me, it's not even close. And again, that's probably a lot because again, the reason why I love doing this panel is because I've got two MCs, a retired MC, up and coming producer who doesn't want this MPC, and a hip hop fan to the core. So we're all coming at it from different elements. So for me being a producer, this is damn near suicide. This is like, nigga, you got the monkeypox and you talking about coming to the barbecue on Labor Day. Like, nah, niggas, don't come nowhere around me with using the same sample. So I'm definitely going with the YZ joint. Rel, what about you? What are you rocking with, the YZ or the Gangstar?
I'm gonna go with YZ. For one reason is No More Mr. Nice Guy. I wasn't really feeling that song at first. You know what I mean? Like it's cool, but I just remember like my older cousins was listening to YZ, so like I like heard that. You know what I'm saying before, and it was like, you know, they not so far apart that the second one will outweigh the original. I mean, not the original, but the first one.
Right.
Did, you know what I'm saying? So, like, No More Mr. Nice Guy isn't dope enough to overtake it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially with, like, me hearing YZ, because like you said, like, I used to hear them. I was really young, but I was always with my older cousins. I used to hear them. I swore they was from Philly. I swore the Crown Rulers was from Philly. You know what I'm saying? So, like Kick the Ball was like one of my favorite songs when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't think, you know, that particular Gangstar song was dope enough to overtake the person that used that sample first. So I'm gonna go with YZ.
All right, no doubt. Veg, what about you?
I'm gonna go with YZ. I felt like you, Kill. I felt like that Gangstar joint was whack. The YZ joint really stuck with me the first time I saw the video. That was the first time I heard the song when I saw the video. And I think it just has even though again, you know, talking about the same sample, it just has a cooler vibe to me in the way it's executed, and you know, obviously the rapper has a lot to do with that. When you hear YZ versus Guru, there's a big difference there, and most people know that first Gangstar album don't even exist to me. I do not like.
That's juvenile hell to you, right?
That is juvenile hell to me. Like, so.
All right, no doubt. Vern, what about you, bro?
So for so many reasons, YZ. I love that his first album. You know, Tower of Power. You know,
man, such many great songs.
Yeah. And I met him later on. He did some stuff with my homies. And I'm on record as not being the biggest Gangstar fan anyway. And like Vague said, YZ's bounce was, to me, the flow, everything about it was way better than Gangstar. So yeah, I'm gonna go with YZ on that.
All right, Kel, my Queens brethren, man. People was thinking I was from Queens this week. I said, nigga.
I don't want to make a pitch.
I said, nigga, how many the fuck? You hear how much I say join and bull? Like in a day, how in your mind could anybody think I'm from Queens? That's no disrespect to Queens because I love Queens, but dog, I say join at least once in every tweet that I send out. So how could you ever think I'm from Queens? But neither here nor there. Kel, what's going on? Which one did you rock with?
Yeah, bro, good. I'm a Robert Forster on this one. I like the Gangstar joint.
That's because you got that wild pitch shirt. That's why.
I was going back. I got a tough city joint too.
I tell everybody out there, Kel has the best collection of record label T-shirts in existence. Like every time I see him, he's got a new one on and has never repeated a shirt. So salute to you for that. But I'm sorry, what are you saying, bro? So you like the Gang Starr?
I like the Gang Starr joint. I'm like before. So I like Primo scratching. I'm a sucker for that. So I know Guru is not at the, like you said, Vegas with the that first album was not great. Guru's not at the level of MC that he is at No Hard to Earn or Moment of Truth, but I still like Primo coming on that.
All right, no doubt. And Kel, that's a great point you bring up, and I always say this about No One Mr. Nice Guy, that I felt like that was almost like a demo. You know what I mean? Like that was almost like essentially their demo that they just got a deal on. And God forbid, if you took my first demo tape or my first beats, bro, you know what I mean? They not there. So, but again, shout to YZ if you've never heard of him, Son of the Father. This album, 5 Mic Classic, incredibly dope album produced by the late Tony D, producer out of Jersey who passed away. I want to say he got hit by a car, but I'm not sure. But RIP to Tony D, either which way, very dope album. Kel, we going out to Queens. Anytime I think about this song, I think about you. We talk about how it was the Queen's anthem. We are going with a Kenny Burke sample. I'm not going to say the name of it. What the fuck? Keep Rising to the Top. If you don't know the sample, like, come on, guys. So, Kenny Burke, Keep Rising to the Top. You had Pete Rock and CL Smooth, Take You There. You had OC's Born to Live. These dropped literally at the same time. I want to say they both had, the video was out at the same time. They were both like the second singles off of each of these 5 Mic albums. Porsche, which one did you rock with? This is a dumbass question. Do you want me to skip?
It really is.
Like, why am I
it really is.
I picked Pete Rock and CL Smooth for me.
Yeah, why did I even ask? Like, that was my fault, Sean. That's my fault.
What I will say in my defense, it's not because I just favor Pete Rock over OC, but Pete Rock did better things with it. And I just felt like OC's just felt a little flat for me. You know what I mean? Like, it just fell flat. Pete Rock and CL Smooth were just a more engaging, they were more engaged. That track was just more engaging for me as a listener, So that's why I chose Pete Rock and CL Smooth.
All right, no doubt.
Yeah, when you 92 and they got your great grandkids at the hospital, you gonna regret that you wasted your breath.
I wasted that.
Yeah.
Right. I don't wasted breath. Right. The last breath that I had to talk to my great grandkids, I just wasted Max and Porsche. What was better, Buckwild or Pete Rock? This joint right here was a learning opportunity for me. My OG, a kid called Roots, who really helped me out with making beats and everything. I'm up at the radio station and we're talking. And I'm like, man, there ain't no difference between them songs. They use the same sample. That nigga was like, nigga, Kill, get the fuck over here. Nigga. He was like, yo, I want you to hear these Pete Rock drums. I want you to pay attention to these drums. Now I want you to go back and listen to OC's Born to Live. And again, this is no knock on Buckwild. This is one of those times I tell people, when there's a photo finish, it's literally by a 0.2. So sometimes when shit is that close, you got to start nitpicking. And Pete's drums, like when I zoomed in and I just wasn't hearing, it's the same sample, it's the same song. When Roots made me sit down and really key in on Pete's drums versus Buckwild's drums, man, it was night and day for me from there on out. And that was a great lesson to me as a producer to realize just because somebody used the same sample that you did already, that the drums can add so much more to it. So, of course, I'm going with P and CL on this joint. Rel, what about you? Which one are you going with?
Yeah, this one is interesting for me because I think Pete did better with the beat. It got more, I guess it is the drums. It got more feeling beat. Like, it got more, I don't know. I guess it's the drums. Like,
Pete's drums definitely brought a swing to the track. That Buckwild's didn't have. There was a swing to it.
That's the word. But I think I like Born to Live's song better.
Yeah. It's hard. It's not an easy joint. It's not an easy joint because what OC was talking about was real, and then he was spitting too, you know?
Yeah, and like, I think I like Want to Live better than Take You There, even though I like Take You There, you know what I'm saying?
Well, hold that for 1 second. For people watching, we're talking about which song was better. And these are good examples. And another one is, and I didn't even put it on here, and I should have, was when Alchemist did the beat for We Gonna Make It for Styles and Kiss versus what Razzcast did with it. Same beat, but Styles and Kiss made it a great song. The Razzcast song, I can't even tell you one line from that joint. I could rap right along with Styles and Kiss with We Gonna Make It. So it's just an example, another example of how somebody can have the same exact beat. This is the same exact beat, not different drums or we use the same thing. It's the same beat, and Styles and Kiss made it a better song. So the questions are, which was the better song? So, Rel, I'm glad you're bringing that up, that you liked OC's verse maybe more than CL's, which is why you like the song better. But I'm sorry, finish up what you were saying.
Like, I just felt like OC was in a I remember when I first saw that video, like even his mannerisms in the video, he was in a pocket, you know what I'm saying? Like he killed that song, you know what I mean? So I think the beat is better with Pete Rock John, but I think I like that song better, you know what I'm saying? Right. So it's kind of like half and half for me, like.
Right. And that's another good point, because I like the song better with Pete and CL just because I felt like it was a whole song. The chorus, the shorty singing, CL smooth rhymes. I mean, that nigga not saying whatever. I don't know what CL talking about half the time, but that nigga voice over the Pete Rock beat with R&B sing, it just was a better song to me. But I definitely feel you. Vegas, what you got on this one?
I got Pete Rock and CL Smooth, man. That's my favorite song off that album. The main Pretty album. So I for me, again, it's like the YZ joint. It's more of the feeling. And I think Pete Rock gave you more of a vibe that was a little bit more than just a hip hop beat. You know, not to take anything away from the OC joint. Because I think his lyrics gave more of a vibe for his rap. Right. But I was just really focusing on the production and what was done with the sample and the song, the beat. And yeah, man, I just like that, what Pete Rock did with that shit. It just feels good. You know what I'm saying?
Right. All right. Vern, what about you?
Yeah, that's the reason I'm going Pete and CL over OC. It feels good, and then you add the singing element, all that stuff. I mean, from what I gather, OC was hard hitting on some things, and that ain't the feeling I get from that track. So I'm gonna go with Pete Rock and CL Smooth.
All right, Cal.
I'm with Rel. I like the OC joint. I'm with you on as far as Pete. Pete kills the beat rather than Buckwild, but I just like what OC spitting. I just like the obviously the flow and stuff like that, and the album's a 5-minute classic. I think that the OC is just that's my joint right there.
All right, no doubt. And for this joint too, I want people at home to realize that, and prayerfully people will go out, they'll do their homework, you'll check out these songs. If you want me to email you this list out, just hit me up on Twitter. I'll definitely do it. But this came out again, what I said earlier, at the same time, and me, my man Snips, and Dante Ross, who's probably one of the greatest A&Rs ever, were talking about it, and even Dante said that he felt like this was a mere coincidence, because back in the 90s, all these dudes went digging together. Buckwild, P, Large Pro, Primo, they all went digging together. So he even said, like, I really think this was a coincidence. This wasn't no bite. It wasn't like somebody used it first. It was just like, and like Cal said, this was a Queens anthem. Like, you know what I mean? And not just Queens, everybody played, this joint, in Philly or whatever. So it's not like it was some hard to find sample that nobody ever heard of. It was only a matter of time before. And for a lot of people watching, that's why I said it's going to be a dope ep, because for people who want to know about producing and vinyl and different terminologies we use, this is the ep for you. Because a lot of the songs that ended up getting sampled were just songs that cats would play at the park. These were just park jams that people just eventually finally got record deals and said, yo, let's, the story of Rock the Bells. The original Rock the Bells was supposed to be Peter Piper, but LL and Run were like beefing at the time. So LL was going to use that because he said, yo, back in the day in Queens, the DJs would be just going back and forth with the Mardi Gras break, and they would call that rocking the bells. So that's where the original Rock the Bells was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Peter Piper. So that's really all a lot of these DJs was doing. The Samande for Me and the Biz, the Master Ace, Marley would talk about how his older brother would play that Samande joint in the park all the time. So a lot of these samples, especially coming in the mid to late 80s, were just records that DJs was playing in the parks all the time. So wanted to put that out there. The next joint, Esther Phillips, That's All Right With Me. This was sampled first by LL for Pink Cookies in the Plastic Bag, the remix. Sampled second from Mobb Deep, produced by Q-Tip for Give Up the Goods. Produced third for J. Rue's Whatever, produced by Primo. And Easy Mo did the LL remix. So we got 3 songs using the same sample, and they're coming in that order. The story of what I heard was that Havoc or somebody from that label kind of reached out to Moby on some old like, yo, what did you use? I kind of want to fuck with it. Or Tip reached out to Moby. So I want to almost say like it was what I would call almost like a call to action, like a call was made. Like, is it cool if I fuck with that? And Moby was like, yeah, do what you do. Now, again, this is just what I'm hearing. I don't know if it's 100% true, but to me, that means something as a producer that I reached out to the producer who used it first, like, yo, are we good? You know what I mean? If I fuck with it, and if that producer said yes, then you fuck with it or whatever like that. So, Porsche, which one out of these 3 did you like the most?
I went with J. Rue, but it was a tough call between that one and the Mobb Deep joint. I didn't like the LL joint. Again, I felt like it felt flat. Like it wasn't an engaging song. I didn't feel like it was, I don't know. I didn't really like the song as much as the other 2. And then I just went with J. Rue because I just love his flow, his rapping. And of course, whenever we can talk about J. Rue, I'd love to do that. So yeah.
All right, no doubt. I'm going with the LL joint. Probably because I hated the original Pink Cookies. Like, it used the same Blind Alley beat that has been used over and over again. So, and then I saw the video to this first. So, also the video also sold it on me with LL out in Queens with the Beamer, and then the Beamer get a flat, and he got to get on the bus. Like, I Pink Cookies in a Plastic Bag, man. That just brings back so many dope memories. So I got to go with that joint on that. And then again, me being a producer, 9 times out of 10, y'all gonna see as a producer, I'm gonna probably pick the first one that was made, because especially if there are years in between somebody else using it. Primo at least did try to flip it. He didn't use it the same exact way. He didn't flip it enough so you didn't know what it was, but he didn't use it the same way for J. Rue's joint. So this is an example of how Guru could have said, it's how you hook it up, because it's the same sample, but he used it different. I'm going with LL Rel. What you got? Why am I asking you? Because you an LL fan. I could just skip. I'm sorry, bro. We'll just skip. We'll save my breath.
Hold on. I want to say one thing, though.
All right.
Because I'm a Mob fan, too, but the video...
The videos were sold.
The video's dope.
The video pushed that one over the edge for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the video is a simple video, but it just brings back, like, what the time that it was, like, how stuff was at that time. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, and at that time, LL was my favorite rapper, period. You know what I'm saying? And that video was just cool, man. The video set it over the edge for me, so I'm gonna go with the LL zone.
Yeah, and 2, I think at this time, I saw the video first. Like, this back when the video, you would see the video sometimes before you heard the 12-inch. So it's not like I heard it on the radio and I was like, oh, that's cool. No, seeing that video, and what I loved about the video was it was just an around the way video. It wasn't even like nothing like, oh, we gonna have you in the sewer, we gonna have you here. Like, nah, nigga, you just picking up your man in your Beamer, ride through Queens, car get a flat, you throw the keys to your man, like, stay with the whip, I'm gonna get on this bus and bag this shorty. Like, so the video, I'm with you on that. Vay, what about you?
I love the LL joint for all the reasons y'all mentioned, but I gotta go with Mobb Deep. It's something about the hop that had put to it.
Tip
that Tip put to it, that, I mean, that shit was rocking in your whip. It was in the club. I mean, DJs was bringing the intro back. Like, it was just different. And it was to the point where I didn't initially recognize it as the same sample, right? Because I love the LL joint. So when they used it, when Tip used it, I didn't recognize it as the same samples, which to me speaks volume. So yeah, I gotta go with Mobb Deep on that one because it's just a hop on that beat that I'm like, damn, you could just rap to this shit, you could dance to this shit, you could do whatever. So
yeah, Tip, the snares that Tip used in that joint. Man,
right.
I could talk for years about Tip's drums and the snares he uses on that, and then the way he drops the sample on that last verse with P when it's just the drums. Yeah, can't go wrong with that. Vern, what about you, good brother?
So I really came to this conclusion today that "Give Up the Goods" is my favorite Mobb Deep song.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, bro, what Q-Tip did on that track, man, with the drums, like that snare goes to your heart. You know, it's a beautiful track, man. And, so yeah, I'm gonna just stop it right there. And I'm gonna just say, yeah, Mobb Deep, Give Up the Goods.
All right, no doubt. Queens, what's going on, Calv?
Hey, Queens get the money, long time no cash.
I don't even know. You know what? I'm gonna just stop asking certain people shit and just get right over you.
The Queens niggas are gonna pick.
Right, exactly. Do I think you were gonna pick Brooklyn? Well, you could have went with LL. That's still cool.
I could have went with LL. And yeah, I love LL's joint. And J. Rule's joint is dope too, but nah. Like I said, the opening line, I'm off that alone. I'm picking that joint.
Yeah. Nah, no doubt. Here's the funny thing. Side note for a minute, I swear at least once a year somebody got to talk about beach rhymes and like. I'm still sitting here like, yo, could y'all imagine if Beach Rhymes and Life had Give Up the Goods, had the beat for Drink Away the Pain, had the beat for Temperatures Rising, for Crooklyn Dodgers, the Get Down Craig Mack remix, like the Nas One Love, or the Nas One Love and Nas World Is Yours.
And Nas World Is Yours.
Yo, we would not be talking. We'd be looking at Beach Rhymes and Life. And I always tell niggas that I'm like, yo, just close your eyes and think about that for a second.
Right. Well, Kill, really quick, man. I'm glad you said that because when I hear One Love, I can hear Fife killing that shit. Yeah. Like Fife's voice and the way he rhymed. He would have killed that shit.
Yo, the Crooklyn Dodger beat, if that was the single for fucking Beach Rhymes and Life, like yo. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Man. So I always tell people that people forget before that Tip wasn't giving out beats to other people. He was keeping all his shit for Tribe. You know what I mean? So if he would have kept all them heaters for Tribe, man, Vern just sat there and said his favorite Mobb Deep song is a Q-Tip beat. Like,
and so to that point, Kill, that's why Tip name gotta come up when y'all talk about all-time favorite producers. Think about all the songs you love in hip hop. I guess, but, like you say, produced by Tribe.
Yeah, it says I guarantee you, if everything would have said produced by Q-Tip from the beginning of Left My Wild and Al Segundo, Tip's name would be different. But for so many years, we all thought Ali was doing the beats. You know what I mean? So that's the problem. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. So which is why Tip on his last Tribe album, everything says produced by Q-Tip. He was done with that, produced by Tribe, whatever. All right, the next joint we got up, The Whole Darn Family Has Arrived. One of my favorite album covers too. Stays right down here, always in the cut. Right there.
You made me go get it, Kill.
No doubt. And here's an extra flex for y'all because a lot of folks don't have the alternate album cover, which is this joint right here. The Whole Darn Family's in the house. Dust up in here. I need dust.
Damn, where you find that?
I don't know. One of my digging excursions, but it's the exact same thing. But here's the wild part. Nay was like, yo, I see more white people in this joint than on this joint. Like, I'm like, yo, Naomi, you got the dopest eyes in the world because I ain't never looked at that. There's not one white person on this cover, but then on this cover, which is the main one, there's like 4 white people in this cover. So she's like, Daddy, did they do a 5 heartbeats on them dudes? And whatever, but
pretty much. Shit.
Yeah, basically, right? But so that's what we talking about. The Whole Darn Family Has Arrived. A very popular break. The first time I heard it was EPMD, It's My Thing. So we're looking at It's My Thing and Jay's Ain't No Nigga. of course, again, the producer in me got to go with. Did I just get dust all over my shirt? The producer in me got to go with the It's My Thing, the EPMD. That thing starting off with the helicopter. This is something else that I realized, y'all. One reason why I think if you were around in the 80s like that, why these songs mean so much to you, you got to remember there wasn't a lot of hip hop. There really wasn't a lot. This isn't 2022 when you can make an 8-hour playlist of what just dropped on Friday, last Friday. Like, there weren't that many
you can.
That was around in 1987. So you would probably hear It's My Thing every day. You know what I'm saying? You would hear it all the time because it wasn't a lot of hip hop groups out at that time. If there were 50 hip hop groups out in 87, 88, that was a lot. Like, you know, whereas there's 50 hip hop groups right now from fucking Buffalo, you know, alone. We ain't even left the state of New York. We ain't even get to New York City yet, you know? So that's why It's My Thing. I mean, the whole start with the helicopter and the out there. I mean, that I love Jay's Ain't No Nigga, but there's nothing that's fucking with It's My Thing. Porsche, what about you, baby?
Yeah, I got EPMD as well. I'm not a giant fan of that song by Jay at all. EPMD for me. Everything about it is better to me. The use of the sample, the rapping, the song in general, the overall, everything about it is better than Jay's for me. So
all right, no doubt. Rel, what you got?
I got EPMD, man. I remember just that group just blew my mind when they with the stuff they was putting out, man. And I will say this about the Jay-Z one. This is another reason why I would pick EPMD. I heard the story about them making that, how they struggled
to get it looped.
To loop it. That Jazzo had to do it. Like, I think Jazzo had to do it and just keep doing it and keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like they struggled to catch it. You know what I'm saying? So the original person that used the sample got to get the nod for me. And then at this point, like EPMD, we talk about that run they had. Like this is part of that. They, you know what I'm saying, they blew my mind when the stuff they was putting out. So I'm gonna go EPMD, hands down.
One of the craziest stories about EPMD that I heard, that Eric and Parrish was like, we was just sampling the records we had in our house, you know, which is why you a customer of ZZ Top. Wasn't nobody sampling no fucking ZZ Top in 1987. Niggas ain't know who the fuck ZZ Top was, but it was like, bro, we just using the records our parents had in the house, and that's what we doing. That's why, and that's one of the things I loved about it, because at that time everybody sampling James. You know what I mean? And what made it different was, you know what I mean, ZZ Top, the whole darn family's arrived. Eric Clapton's I Shot the Sheriff. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't the regular stuff everybody else was sampling at that time. And to me, that's one of the reasons why Strictly Business is probably one of my top 10 favorite hip hop albums ever. Vay, what about you? Which one you got?
This was difficult for me because I love that sample so much. So it's probably one of those samples where if somebody else rhymed over it, I really wouldn't be mad because I like it so much. But I'm gonna go with Hov, mainly because similar to with the Mobb Deep situation, I love the EPMD version. Maybe I feel like it's a little too long, but the J joint it's a little faster, right?
Yeah, it's much faster.
Yeah, a little faster. And I think that's what I liked about it. I liked it because it still had that feeling of a beat you could spit over. But again, I was in the clubs around this time. That song was crazy. But I will say, well, I stick with the J joint. But I will say to Rel's point, I remember back when I first started rhyming, and I was like, oh shit, this little beat on the end. Let me try to loop that shit. You want to talk about difficult? I ain't have no studio, nothing. I probably missed a couple loops and shit. I just switched up my rhyme pattern like I did the shit on purpose. So it is difficult to loop that joint. I mean, you know, obviously now there's more equipment to possibly do that. But yeah, for me, it's the J joint. I just kind of like that joint a little bit better, just because it's faster and I just like what they did with it overall. It was unexpected to me.
All right, no doubt. Vern, what about you?
Hands down, EPMD. That album is my 11th grade, one of my 11th grade soundtracks. In fact, me and my boys Rudy and Derek hanging out Saturday at the game. Man, that album, that song just brings back so many memories. And funny to me, listening to Jazzo, you think he was doing brain surgery or splitting an atom the way, they couldn't do it, but okay, cool, man, but yeah.
Like Jazzo was done before, bro. Like,
right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I couldn't give them the nod, because they struggled. They struggled. I remember that story about that song. Like, they struggled to catch it. And when
come on, Vern. You know it. If a nigga ain't gonna do nothing else, he gonna embellish the story. Like, you got jumped by 3 niggas. Now you got jumped by 20 niggas. And 2 of them had knives and 5 of them had. A nigga gonna embellish the story.
Right.
So whenever you come around the way, yo, nigga, I just got jumped. How many 10 niggas? Probably about 3. Three, 4. I'm gonna take off 6 for every nigga you say you got jumped by. So he had to make it seem like he just invented fucking Apple computers and MacBook Pros and one shit. Like, he had to. Kel, what about you? Which one you going with, bro?
EPMD. Like we talked about the EPMD show. I mean, that's everything they were dropping at that time was just hit you over the head classic. So like you say, you just hit that joint, come on, and yeah, that's the joint. I love the J joint is dope too, but it's different.
All right, no doubt. The next joint we got up is a Lou Donaldson joint. Main Source used it first for just a friendly game of baseball off their debut 5 mic album, Breaking Atoms. Then Tribe used it as a B-side for this song called If the Papes Come. And again, the producer and me, as soon as I heard If the Papes Come, I was like, yo, what the fuck, man? Why are you using Paul shit? Like, I mean, immediately, it was like, yo, what the fuck, nigga? Like, you know what I mean? So again, Main Source came out first. I'm going with just a friendly game of baseball because I love the story behind it. I don't think Large Pro gets enough credit on that album for his storytelling. So just an incredible, making baseball, like, black kids dealing with police brutality. And, of course we all love fuck the police, but, just a friendly game of baseball is tackling that same subject matter and doing it in a deeper way to me. So of course I'm going with Main Source on that one. If the Papes Come was dope, you know what I mean? But again, when it comes to Large and that crew of people, again, like Dante Ross was saying, they all dug together. So, I wouldn't put it past them to grab the same album, but at the same token too, we can't salute Tip all the time because according to Pete, he came down to the basement, heard Pete had the jazz beat playing on the SP 1200. Pete said the record was right there. Tip peeped it, went back, did jazz on Low End Theory, even shout out Pete at the end of the track, said Pete rocked for the beat. So, I love Tip to death, but I'm just saying, my nigga, why are you saying Pete rock for the beat, but then it say produced by Tribe West, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with Main Source on that. P, what you got up?
I'm with you on that. I got Large Pro, the Main Source joint. And again, I just feel like less is more sometimes, and I feel like the Tribe joint is just a little bit busier sounding. And again, I'm not a producer, I don't know the correct lingo, but I feel like Large Pro did better with the sample as well and kind of just made it match the track a little bit better. It was just an overall better song to me. I know you said you really like If the Papes Come. I said it was cool. Like, it's not, I see why I didn't make the album. I love that track as much as I love the Just a Friendly Game of Baseball. And I absolutely agree with you, Kill. I don't think I don't even think that album gets talked about as much as it should for what it is. I definitely am going with Large Pro here.
All right, no doubt. Rel, what about you?
Main Source. I love that song like a lot. So it's like this one not even really close for me. You know what I'm saying? Like the way I feel about that song and that the songs on that album, the storytelling on that, looking at the front door, like he was killing it. You know what I'm saying? And that song, I love that song, like, because I remember looking at the title, and when you look at the title, you don't know what he about to talk about. You know what I'm saying? And what he talked about was important and still relevant right now. And that was made back in the early 90s, you know what I'm saying? So I love that song, so that's going to get the win for me.
No doubt. Veg, what about you?
I feel the same way. Main source. I think Portia summed up my opinion, because I felt the same thing, right? The Tribe joint is cool, but the main source track is just better. It's better tailored for the lyrics, the theme of that record. So it had more impact on me when I listened to it. Because I had to listen to them again. Like, obviously, I'm familiar with them, but it was almost like listening for the first time and listening for what Large Pro did with the sample. I just felt like he did more with it to impact me, at least as a listener. So I gave Main Source the 9.
All right, Vern.
Extra P, hands down. I'm a Tribe fan. They on my wall, but if the pace come, almost seemed like a throwaway track. P told a story. He had a vision for it, and I don't get that way if the pace comes. So definitely Main Source.
All right, Cal, you on the fence because it's 2 Queens niggas, so I don't know which way you
I
go.
was like, yeah, Queens on Queens violence. I'm like, this is awful. I'm with the Main Source though on this joint. Same thing, baseball is my favorite sport. So, like bro said, looking at the title of the song, I'm like, all right, I'm talking about baseball, and he flips it completely. But I like the little singing. Obviously, you can correct me, Kill, the little singing hook on the song that I just thought that was different. Just add a little bit something to it. But yeah, that album again, like Portia said, that album is it doesn't get talked about enough. It really doesn't.
All right, no doubt. I'm gonna talk now about a joint where you can flip the same sample. So it's gonna sound crazy for people watching. It's may sound crazy for people on the show. I'm going with MC Hammer's. God, I don't forgot the name of the song. What is the name of the song we're talking? Super Freak. Super Freak.
James.
We're talking about MC Hammer just looping it. This doesn't even have to be about which song we like better. We could say this, but I really wanted to use this example, Rick James, Super Freak, that of course MC Hammer used for You Can't Touch This, but then also Just Blaze chopped the fuck out of it for Jay's Kingdom Come. I know Kingdom Come is probably most people Jay's least favorite album. There's a couple of songs on there I really fuck with, including this one because of what Just Blaze did with that sample. So just off what Just Blaze did with that sample alone gets the nod for me. Porsche, what about you?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I feel like just looping, don't get me wrong, I don't mind loops. I'm not like one of those people who's like, nah, I'm not a fan of loops. I like loops.
You know what, Porsche, can you pause there for 1 second? Because this is a great place to talk about. But you know what, Porsche, finish. I don't want to make you forget your point. I'll write down my point.
I won't forget my point. Go ahead. All
right. I was going to say that this is the perfect time to talk about when people say loops. As a producer, when I talk about a loop, it's more so like the Potbelly joint I just said. That's a loop. If you play Lou Donaldson's Potbelly, you're gonna hear Friendly Game of Baseball. You're gonna hear The Papes Come. That's a loop. Then you have other people who will say, well, a loop is just using something popular. Both of them are loops, but this is just a more popular loop because you already know. You've already heard Rick James Super Freak before. You know what I mean? So when some people say, oh, I don't like you using loops, I always try to correct people. Well, not correct people, but just help them understand it. And Porsche, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people in general, where I'm like, people be like, nah, I don't really fuck with it because it's just a loop. And I'm like, bro, I bet you if I ask you your 5 favorite hip-hop songs ever, they're all loops. You know what I mean? They may just be loops of songs you didn't hear before, but 9 times out of 10, they're all loops. If I put the needle on the record, Roots used to do a show called Milk Crates on 889, and I took it over after him, where he would play the original sample. And basically what we're doing right now, he would play the original sample, and then the person who used it, and 99% of the times, as soon as the record hits the needle hits the record, you already know who used it because it's a blatant loop. Only Dilla and Preem are the only 2 producers that I've had people over my house, and I'm like, hey, listen to this. And they're like, what? I don't hear it. And I'm like, oh, let me play it again. I still don't hear it. And I have to like manipulate it some for them to hear like, oh shit, that's where, oh, I didn't even hear that. So Porsche, I just wanted to say it because I know you were about to say something about you don't have a problem with, loops.
And I like that you clarified that, Kill, because I was going to actually ask the question, because sometimes I feel like, yes, obviously, you said like the majority of samples are looped, but for me, like what MC Hammer did with "You Can't Touch This" is a blatant loop. Like it's just the exact, like cut and copy paste, like that sample onto yours, and then you just start saying some things over top of that. What Just Blaze did, mind you, I don't actually like Kingdom Come as an album or a song, to be honest. But what Just Blaze did with that wasn't the same. It was the same. You could hear elements, but it's not just cut and copy of the original. Do you know what I mean? So when I say loop, that's what I mean. Like at least something was done to it. There was other things added. There was a snare, I don't know, a chime, like something was added. It wasn't just taking James's joint, taking out his vocals, like basically using the instrumental and then MC Hammer go speak over it. You know what I mean? I don't even want to call him a rapper, but that's what I mean.
Right. And I get it. And this is the chop job versions of this show. Really, I mean, if you want to talk about what song you like better, that's cool. But again, it's kind of like almost like how I just wanted to give an example of how you can chop up the sample, because here's the thing, Porsche. My only beef with this is just when you use something popular that everybody knows. Because there are a lot of times in hip hop, Peter Piper, one of the greatest hip hop songs ever, they added nothing. That's just Jay scratching Bob James Mardi Gras back and forth. They didn't add no drums, no kicks, no snares, no hi-hats, but it's one of the greatest hip-hop songs ever. And I think for me, at least, the difference is because coming up, I just didn't know Mardi Gras. I didn't hear Peter Piper and go, oh, that's Bob James Mardi Gras off the 4 album. Exactly. Whereas with Super Freak, you hear it and you're like, oh, this nigga just rhyming over Rick James. So to me, a lot of that is the difference of what a lot of times when I talk about, oh, it's just a loop, it's really just, oh, that's a popular loop that everybody knows versus that's some obscure loop that nobody ever heard of. When Come Clean came out, niggas was talking about Primo was recording water droppings in the basement of his building, like Beat Street, some shit, so. And then when you find out the original sample, it's from a jazz drummer. Mm-hmm. It's from a jazz drummer's album, and it's just like, like brain explosion emoji, like, yo, how the fuck did you find this on that album? So again, that's it. Well, what did you think about the way Just chopped up the sample? Was it dope? Was it okay or what?
Yo, he chopped the hell out of that sample, because I ain't even recognize that that's what it was. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not like the huge Just Blaze fan. Like, he cool, but that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that and the MC Hammer joint is like two totally different methods of producing a song. You know what I mean? Like, one was just, let's just rap over this drum, and the other one he did his thing on that. You know what I mean? I don't even really care for the song like that, but knowing that that's what he used and listening to the beat, I'm like, damn, like, yeah, he did his thing.
Yeah, there's a bounce on that that's just like that. Hey, and then the beat drop again. It's like, ooh, this is crazy. From what I heard, it was on Just Blaze SoundCloud page, and Quest heard it and was like, yo, this shit's crazy. I gotta get, we gotta get Jay on this. And then that's how the stuff came together. So that was just a beat that was living on Just Blaze's SoundCloud page at the time. Hey, what about you?
Well, there's a little bit more to that story too. Well, obviously, I picked the Just Blaze joint, the Kingdom Come.
Yeah, and I mean, again, this wasn't the round of, like, it's more so the question of, did you like how Just, like, to me, this is what Guru's talking about. Rap is art, you can't own no loop. It's how you hook them up. Like, Just Blaze hooked up this loop, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, like, to your point, it's like you can and you can't, right? Because what Hammer did wasn't uncommon, and you just proved that. Right. So it wasn't uncommon to loop something like that. It's just that most hip hop fans didn't prefer him as a rapper. So therefore, him using Rick James was invalid to them. Yeah. You know what I mean? But when you hear Just Blaze did with that shit. That's kind of that's our preference at this point. You know what I'm saying? Is to make something that's already great. It was already a great beat when Rick James did it. It was a good get for MC Hammer at his point in time. Mm-hmm. But Just Blaze said, "This is how hip hop is going to do it." And I remember when I don't know if this came from the SoundCloud thing, but it was kind of before trending was a thing. It was trending because he played that sample out like in a video before in them early days of the YouTube and online shit, and people were going crazy like, "Yo, this shit is crazy," and then Jay wound up rapping over it. You know what I'm saying? But I remember he used to play a lot of beats and make beats and shit online, and that was one of them. And I just remember just like other heads just hitting me up like, "Yo, you heard what he did with this Rick James shit?" And it was sick. And it's tweaked for the Jay-Z album, because when he originally played it, you know how sometimes them original shits be extra dirty, and you like, man, play that shit, and then they kind of clean it up, and you're like, all right, But yeah.
Vern, what'd you think about Just work on that Rick James joint?
Yeah, he did some surgery on that. Kingdom Come is not my favorite album. It does have some good songs on it. But yeah, that's hands down. And as Vague said, I mean, we weren't checking for Hammer like that, you know. So
right. And Cal, what about you?
Yeah, definitely it's Just, man. You know, I don't think it, like you said, I don't think it's just for chopping. More Dilla, more Primo, more even Pete and even Q-Tip. But yeah, that he flipped that a lot. So I like that joint a lot.
Right.
And I don't like that at all. But.
Right. Another chop job we're gonna talk about is a Roy Ayers sample. Pete used it as an interlude on the main ingredient. And then Dilla got a fucking hold of it.
Yeah.
And fucking went to fucking work.
He did.
And the thing that I love about both these chop jobs I want to talk about, because most producers, we do shit like this as like training. You know, it's like practice to us. Because what Dilla would do was Dilla would take a whole lot of samples that Pete and Preem and other producers had already used just to see if he could flip them in a different way. And Dilla was the type like, "Yo, Quest, don't let Pete hear this. I don't want him to think I'm biting his shit. Like, I don't want him to think I'm disrespecting or anything like that." And Quest was like, "Nah, fuck that. The niggas got to hear this." And then that's how Black Star ended up getting on it for this joint called Little Brother. It's off the Hurricane soundtrack. So people watch and go just YouTube Little Brother by Black Star. You'll hear it. Find the Pete joint. You'll hear that. And it was funny because the same thing with Just Blaze. This was probably just some practice shit to him. That's why I was on his SoundCloud page, because it was just like, yo, I'm just fucking around. Like, I'm not really trying to shop this beat. Like, it's just, I'm trying to do this just to practice, just to kind of stretch my mind and see what I could do with it. And somebody just ended up getting on it. So that's another joint that's out there. What did y'all think of what Dilla did to that joint? Porsche, I know this is against Pete, but what did you think about what Dilla did with the OG sample?
I'm glad you asked that, because I think Dilla did, again, like Pete just used it as it was, right? Like it was just a straight usage of that sample. What Dilla did with it, it's kind of like what we were talking about before with Just Blaze, and what Rel said, like it was unrecognizable, and that's kind of what you want. You want to be able to use elements of the sample, and then to me, like when you put out this list, I was trying to listen back to be like, who really used the sample the best, right? In certain circumstances, and in this particular one, I think Dilla was just like otherworldly with it, of course, in true Dilla form. So yeah, of course.
Question: did this list help everybody? Was this good? Did this help with this show, having all these joints?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, no doubt. Rel, what about you? Did you fuck with what Dilla did to this?
Dilla, yeah, man, like chopping, like yo, he go crazy.
Tell you, it's Dilla and Preem. It's them two is like neck and neck on some shit. Preem will probably get it more than Dilla, but Dilla's right there, man.
Yeah, he be doing some wild stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like some alien type stuff, man. Like, how do you be even thinking of doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, so of course I'm I fuck with what he did on this joint, and like for example, like what he did with the light.
Oh yeah,
the vocal
You got me started.
he did.
You got me started.
please don't talk about the light because it's a love song. We don't have another 20 minutes for Portia to talk about falling in love. So let's skip over the light for right now because people play it on wedding boys and men. Babe, what did you do? Were you fucking with? Portia's walking down the aisle to like the light mixed in with fucking on bended knee. Watch how the DJ freaks it. It's gonna be the end of the two. Babe, what do you think about what Dilla did to this joint?
So you're telling me that to get Portia's phone number, you just gotta have a bunch of fucking cue cards and shit, and
basically, outside the window.
You gotta
just pull up to her crib in a shitty car and a fucking knitted sweater, and with some braille cards.
I have such. You say kill 5 trash cans? 5 trash cans. Oh.
Nah, I feel you, bro. I feel you. Well, babe, what'd you think of this joint?
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man. Messing around with you. Prior to that, I would have picked PCL just because I like the joint.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I learned more about Dilla's technique, now I can hear the shit. And I'm like, this he is Mr. I'm gonna deconstruct this shit and put it together whatever way I want to.
Whatever way my heart desires, I'm gonna do.
Right. And at first listen, you like, damn, is that shit on beat?
Yeah.
It isn't, but it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Which is dope. So you really can't beat him when it comes to that shit.
Right. Vern, what about you?
So, Kill, as Vague said, I mean, you've been saying this for a long time, and I ain't gonna lie, this is really the first time that I heard it from Dilla. Like, yo, okay, I hear the technique clearly. I mean, because that song does some twists and turns, and then it comes back a little bit to what you're familiar with. Then it goes somewhere. It's like that. Like at the not the thing is you sit in a chair and it go in a circle but it spins.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of what
sidewinder shit.
Yeah. Like that's kind of what that track did. I'm like, there it is. Oh, there, where it go? So yeah. I really got an appreciation for Dilla just from that track.
Yeah, it's crazy. Cal, what about you, bro?
Yeah, the same thing. And to piggyback with Vern, Royaz is dope in itself. He's just dope. So sampling him is one thing, and then Dilla just flipping that. I don't know if Kill, you might have put me on to this. Is like a joint I saw on YouTube with Dilla. He like sampled like 10 records or something. No, 10 parts of a record or something. Like he just kind of moved them all around, like the same part, like. Have you seen that?
Nah, I haven't seen it, bro. But I'm telling y'all, Dilla, I think Rel said it. He's a fucking alien, man. And it's one of those things where, like, that's why producers, we love him so much, because it's like our brains would not have ever thought to do the things that Dilla was doing. Like, it just, it doesn't work like that. I mean, even for Common's doing it, I always tell people, there's no way in the world any human being ever figures out that that's Rick James, Give It To Me, Baby, the intro bass line. Him taking them bass notes and replaying them himself. Nobody's ever going to realize that if Quest didn't say it. And again, that was just Quest saying, yo, here, take this Rick James record and do something with it. And that nigga made Commons doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, alien, love. Next up, we got the JBs, James Brown's band. We got 2 songs that use this sample at the same time. You got PE's Terminator X to the Edge of Planet and Ultramagnetic's Ease Back. This may shock people because everybody knows Ultramagnetic is probably one of my top 5 hip-hop favorite albums ever, but I gotta go with the Terminator X to the Edge of Panic because, yo, when they played that during the show, you want to see 20,000 people in a stadium lose their motherfucking minds? Put that on with the intro and everything, with that Flash Gordon intro, when that beat and the go with Flav doing that Flav dance, yo, you can forget about it. You talk about this out when people be like, yo, but do they got a shook ones? Nigga, do you have a Terminator X to the Edge of fucking planet? Like, I mean, to the edge of panic. Yo, my
stadiums. Shut up. Yeah,
stadiums would go lose their shit. I ain't talking about no hole in the wall club. I ain't talking about SOBs. Stadiums would go crazy when that drops. So as much as I love Ease Back, there's just no competition with this joint. I'm gonna come around the other way so people don't have to wait till the end. Kel, what do you think about this joint?
Nah, that's my joint. And the thing is, P obviously they sample the same record on a couple joints now on Rebel Without a Pause too. But
right.
The Terminator X joint, man. Like you said, Flash Gordon come on and this Terminator spin into like I said, I'm a sucker for cutting and scratching. So, just give me that. PE, that's the joint right there.
And keep in mind, this is 87, 88. They both used them at the same time. But again, I don't think it's no biting. Again, is this just my opinion? It's just what I think. Because again, at the time, everybody was sampling James Brown. Everybody was sampling JB. So at that time in hip hop, that loud screeching horn, that's what anybody was looking for. So I don't think it's any biting. Just somebody, they both used them at the same time. Vern, what about you?
I am a witness. I was at the Omni. PE was on tour. They came out to that. Nigga. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, nigga, that's the answer. The answer is nigga. Vay, what about you, man?
Yeah, man, PE Terminator X, man. That intro with the Flash Gordon in the setup, I must have played that back 100 times before I let the song rock.
Mm-hmm.
It's just way too powerful. Like the execution is just it's
like it was built for a stadium. Like that's almost like
right.
It was built. It's almost like the Bomb Squad said, like, all right, y'all, we gonna be doing these tours. We need a stadium back. Right. You know what I mean? Because like you said, it's built. When that comes in, it's like Terminator Exit, go. It like niggas are losing their shit. You know what I mean? So,
bruh, you taking me back, man. Every time y'all say it.
Yo, bro, again, I love Shook Ones, but I don't know how that became the hip hop standard, but do they have Shook Ones? Nigga, I got about 5 other songs. Do y'all got a Welcome to the Terror Dome? Like,
yeah,
niggas,
man.
Hey, you can run them off, right? Yeah.
Bring the noise, man.
Yeah, well, you got a Welcome to the Terror Dome. Yeah, show them. Oh my God, man. Yeah. Bro, what about you?
PE, that shit, the energy in that shit that's some different. That's mosh pit level right there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it is.
That's crazy. That's like, and as great as Ease Back is, that sound, like when you hear it, that shit like kind of almost synonymous with PE. Like that's the first thing come to your mind. You know what I mean? For me, when I hear that, yeah, that shit is. That's just on another level, man. Like
that's on some Pavlovian. You gonna do something when you hear that, man.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy.
Yeah. Porsche, what about you, sis?
Kill, when you sent out the list and I saw this, I was so mad. I was like, he's really gonna do this, and then he's gonna make me do one. And I literally sat there with these two playing side by side, one after another, for like 2 hours straight. And I came to the conclusion that I don't know. I am they are neck and neck. They are tied. Never ever put these two songs up against each other ever again. Ever. Every podcast out there, never again. But gun to my head, and only for purposes of just the fact that the entire panel chose Terminator X, I'm going to say Ultra Mag, because I love Critical Beatdown. I love the beat, the break in the beat when it drops. Exactly. Like, I love everything.
Yeah, I mean, Ease Back is fucking incredible, man. It's just, I think it's...
was so mad at you. I've been listening to these two songs for 2 days straight, trying to decide. And because I knew I would get shit for coming again with another tie. And I was like, here we go. Like, Kill does this to me, and then I get blamed for having ties. Like, thanks, Kill. Thank you.
Now, here's the thing, Porsche. I mean, Vague said a huge point. If you was in the clubs, like a club will make you change your mind about a song. I've gone into a club hating a song and left the club loving that song. So again, I think being in the stadium, if you would have been at those events, like I think it would have been a clear home run. Because again, this is crazy for me because we all know I love Critical Beatdown, but being at those shows, there's just nothing can match that energy. As much as I love them, just Nothing can match.
With Terminator X at the Edge of Panic, you don't even need to be in a stadium to get the
Right.
energy on that song. You just
Right.
need speakers that have high volume capacity. Like, and then you feel like you're in a stadium on stage with them. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's that dope of a song and that much energy just, blares through. But Ultramag for me this time.
All
It
right,
may
no doubt.
Ask again, it may change, so don't hold me.
All right, now I'm gonna piss off Porsche again because the next one I got the JBs again. This time it's Marley's production of Kane's The Wrath of Kane against Said G's production for Ultramag, Cool Keith, Cold Housing Things. These both came out at the same time. I want to say I heard Cool Keith's Cold Housing Things first, so I think Critical Beatdown had dropped. And then the 12-inch for Wrath of Kane. Wrath of Kane wasn't on any of his albums. It was just a 12-inch. I think it was the B-side to, no, I'm thinking about Lean On Me. So it still wasn't on either of his albums. It was on a 12-inch though. Again, y'all know I love Ultramag, but Kane's The Wrath of Kane was just crazy. Man, the energy behind that, the way it started off with the I mean, Cool Keith starts the same way, but it's just something about Kane just mentioning random people. Like, I don't know what the fuck he's saying. He's just mumbling something, and then the beat. You know what he's saying, man?
No, that's what I was gonna talk about, man. The nigga whispering and shit.
Yeah, it's like he's just mumbling random shit. He's just mumbling random shit. I'm like, yo, who? Pablo? Like Pop X? I don't even know who you talking about, but it's just the build up, and there's the Wrath of Kane, and then was the River, and then some, baby. Like, so again, I love Cool Keith, Cold Housing Things, but I gotta go Wrath of Kane. Kel, what about you?
Yeah, man, it's Wrath of Kane. It's funny you said that. I remember him in the. I think I saw Kane perform that at the Apollo live. And
now that I want to say did make the second album.
That's on. It's a Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, there is a live version on here of Wrath of Kane. Yeah.
I think that's the first time I remember hearing it. I think I heard the live version before I heard the studio version. But like you said, just the energy of Kane, obviously from Set It Off, this is rhyme fast, it's Kane for me.
Yeah, just FYI, very dope Kane album. I never hear anybody talk about on the timeline. Never hear this ever. Yeah, 5 My Classic, great follow-up. I think there's only 2 Marley cuts on here because it's always the knock that after you left the Juice Crew and Marley didn't produce for you, didn't make no more good albums. I think Kane and G-Rap got a little something to say about that. So very dope album if you haven't heard it. Vern, what about you? Wrath of Kane or Cool Keith, Cold Housing Things? You on mute, bro.
My bad. Definitely Wrath of Kane, but I want to issue a warning. If you go on iTunes and you type in Wrath of Kane, there's a song by some dude named King Kane. And I was listening to it. I'm like, man, what the hell? What is this?
Who?
King Kane?
King Kane. Yeah. And I'm like, man, what? And I'm like, oh, that ain't Big Daddy Kane. So make sure you're paying attention. But yeah, Wrath of Kane for me.
Hey, Vic, what about you, man? I think this is a waste of breath because it's Brooklyn, so.
Well, first of all, man, before there was Biggie, I was looking for Kane. That's how much of a fan I was. I'd be in the hood like, Kane, oh, that's right? Yo, that Wrath of Kane, especially live at the Apollo, because I wasn't there. It's the energy, man. The energy of that record when it starts, you know he's gonna kill it, right? Because you heard it before. Like you said, Kill, he whispering shit. It's kind of like how Prodigy did with Quiet Storm, except you could hear what he was saying. Right. It was the build-up, you know what I'm saying? And he just killed that beat. I think his performance is what elevates the entire song, including the beat, even though, like you said, Cool Keith, the beat, the sample's there.
Right.
It's a totally different vibe. So
yeah, the build-up is so important when a producer's making a song, because I want to say with the Cool Keith, it just starts off with dun 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 dun, because I'm sonically high bionically for you suckers that want to be. Whereas with Kane, it was just that dun dun dun. It was just that build-up, you know what I mean? And then when it dropped, it was just like, yo, you know what I mean? And again, I felt like people we were making songs for the stadiums at that time, because that's where, you know, we were making songs even for the Latin Quarters. We were making songs for Union Square for people to lose their shit. Like, I don't know if people necessarily make songs now to perform at clubs or perform and stuff. Like, now I feel like we make songs that's like, we take it to the strip club, like, you know what I mean, and try it out at strip club. Like, we weren't doing that in the 80s and the 90s. It was like, make a song and then take that shit in your MPV and go play that shit in the hood, like, that type thing. So what are you gonna say back? You?
I was gonna say, Warm It Up Kane is like that too.
Yeah. Yep.
It has that.
Kane definitely has that show.
That beat is just playing, and you just kind of like, oh shit.
You know what it feels like? It feels like in that Fade to Black when they were recording Encore, and Kanye was like, you know, this is where you can be in the crowd, like, say ho, but like, if you listen to Encore, it has the stadium feel to it. It feels like it's a live version of it. It's like, say ho, they gonna be saying oh, like Ye had that mindset to be like, yo, you're gonna be performing this song. You know what I mean? It's like this ain't no album cut. This is your performance piece of it. Bro, what you got, bro?
Yo, I got Kane. My cousin Mark ran this song. Yo, man. Yo, he ran this joint. Yo, man, he ran this joint in the ground. He was a huge Kane fan. One of my cousins that I hung out with. And yeah, he ran this joint in the ground. So, yeah, I probably heard this 70 million times. Yeah, even if I wouldn't have liked it, I'll damn near force to like it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's Kane. He was in his bag, so I'm gonna go with Kane on that one.
All right, Pete. What about you, sis?
Yeah, I got Kane too. I just love the rapping. Like, I echo what everybody else said, but I also, with the sample, noticed, and I like pick these songs apart when you sent the list. So I like that they sped up the tempo on that sample for the Kane joint. So I think that just matched everything that was going on there. And like Rel said, Kane was definitely in his bag. So yeah, Kane.
All right. Next up, we got this joint from one of my favorite singers, Minnie Riperton, Inside My Love. Tribe used it for Lyrics to Go. They used it first. Jay Dilla used it for his group. Before there was Slum Village, the name of their group was J88. So before there was Slum Village, it was J88. He used it for their song called Look of Love. And the crazy thing is he used the Inside My Love, the Trina Burchard version off the Love Jones soundtrack, not the OG Minnie Riperton joint. Again, I gotta go with Tribes because Lyrics to Go is just a fucking perfect song. I love what Dilla did to it though. Like, I love Dilla added that bounce to it. He added them bass tones to it, that had that Dilla swing to it. I love it. But I'm like, Porsche, if this was gun to head and I had to pick one, it's definitely Lyrics to Go, because when I first heard Lyrics to Go, I was like, yo, this song is dope. And then when I found out the sample is just her singing in that high pitch that she's hitting, and Tip used it, it was like fucking genius. Just genius with that. So I'm definitely going with Tribe's Lyrics to Go with that. Kel, I'm sure it's going to be Queen, so I'll just skip right over you. Vern, you love Tribe, so I'll just skip right over you. Vague, I don't know with you, Vague, because you're Brooklyn. So where you going with this joint?
I'm going with a Tribe, man, because first of all, I love that record, Minnie Riperton.
Yeah, exactly.
So that already get me in the club. But when I heard what he did with it, it was like he captured the essence of that record, but for hip hop, because it did sound, not to go too far with it, but I don't know, it just gave it this vibe, similar to something we said earlier. I think it was the Mobb Deep or whatever, but yeah, man, I just love what Tip did with that joint, man. Like you said, man, he took the high pitch part and layered that in there. And originally, when I first heard it, I didn't even peep that, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's just a bunch of sounds and shit, and you kind of hear the one thing that stands out. And then I'm like, oh wow, he took that part, and I'm just like, repeat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the shit was just that good. So yeah, man, Tribe.
So Kill, I gotta speak on it. So when me and my wife were dating, she used to run Minnie Riperton to death. So that Inside My Love is, because she ain't really no hip hop head or whatever, but I could put Lyrics to Go. I'm like, this is that. And man, the Fender Rhodes. I'm a Fender Rhodes junkie. After that high pitch when tip goes that doom 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 doom. That song, man, that's one of the most beautiful songs in hip hop ever created, man. It's ethereal. Rail, you're an English teacher. He
said this shit is imperial.
Ethereal. It's spiritual, man. That's a beautiful song, man. So yeah, definitely.
All right, Rail, what about you?
Yo, man, Lyrics to Go, like one of my favorite songs ever. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to even hold you. It's like one of my favorite songs ever. And that the high pitched voice, how he let that shit plays like almost through the whole song. It's like a constant. You know what I'm saying? And that song, like you said, yo, I think that song is like perfect. Like I can't find not one thing wrong with that song. You know what I'm saying? What he did with that beat, like, and how they flowed over that beat, him and Fight, yo, that shit is crazy. That's like that's like almost not fair because how I feel about that song. You know what I'm saying? That's like one of my favorite songs ever. So,
What about you, sis?
So, just to be very clear, Lyrics to Go is a 5 mic song for sure. Like that's not debatable. But for this, I'm going with Slum Village. And for me, the reason for that is because I just feel like the way that Tribe used that sample was predictable in true Tribe form. And the way Slum Village used it, or it was used for Slum Village, it was different for me. So that's literally the only reason. Otherwise, Lyrics to Go, I mean, as you guys said, it's a perfect song. So, but it is predictable, in my opinion.
All right, no doubt. I know the first time I heard the Look of Love joint, I remember I was on my way to 889 and my man Little Mike was playing it on the radio. And I was just like, yo, this shit's crazy. Like the way Dilla freaked this and the bass tones and everything. So ain't nothing wrong with that because Look of Love is a crazy song. Next up, we got the Average White Band. Rakim used it for Microphone Fiend first. Then Special Ed used it for Think About It. This ain't even fucking close to me. Microphone Fiend is probably my favorite Eric B. and Rakim song. When I heard those guitar licks for the first time, that yo, and then when the drums come in, yo, Microphone Fiend is a perfect hip hop song to me. It's utterly Rakim is in his bag. That beat is incredible. That is my favorite Rakim song ever. So of course, for me, it's that. P, what you got for this one? Microphone Fiend and Special Ed.
I got Rakim, and I absolutely agree with you. Perfect song. It's one of my favorite Rakim songs. I love Know the Ledge, but Microphone Fiend is brilliant. So yes, I'm going with that one.
Yo, when he said after 12, I'm worse than a gremlin, feed me a hip hop and I'll start trembling. The first time I heard that, I was like, I give up again. Yeah. Like this nigga has made me give up almost damn near every song I've heard him on, but feed me hip hop after 12, I'm worse than a gremlin. Oh my God. You know what I mean? It's funny because one of my young boys, you know, I love that they ask me these questions. He's like, come on, OG, feed me, you worse than a gremlin? I'm like, bro, you don't understand because you weren't alive. See, this is where people, when you weren't alive, sometimes you just need to shut the fuck up. Yeah, Gremlins was the shit. Okay, so
after midnight.
Yeah, so Gremlins was the shit. So, and again, Gremlins being a little shorty, that nigga Stripe was a little scary motherfucker at the time. So, you know, when that nigga said after 12, I'm worse than a gremlin, feed me hip hop and I start trembling, I get it. In 2022, that doesn't sound like a crazy line. Totally get it. Trust and believe when that shit was said, it was a crazy fucking line. So again, if you weren't alive, sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up. Rel, what about you?
Yeah, Rakim, man, he was otherworldly on this song, man. Like this is like top 3 favorite Rakim song for me. Know the Ledge is my favorite, ironically, same as Porsche. But yeah, he was crazy. And the thing is, this sample, I love this sample so much. Like, it's almost, you almost gotta be like horrible to rap over this and like stink it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this sample was so fire. Cause I like the Special Ed joint, but this one wasn't close, man. Rakim all day. You know what I mean? he spazzed on this joint like he do on a lot of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny. I wasn't a big fan of Follow the Leader. So I liked the song. I thought it was a cool song, but I didn't love it. And coming off of Paid in Full, it was like, I was kind of like, oh man. But then when I heard Microphone Fiend, I was like, now this is what the fuck I'm talking about. Veg, what about you? Microphone Fiend or Special Ed's Think About It? And you're muted, by the way.
This is definitely not one of those times where I'm going with Brooklyn. Microphone Fiend is one of my favorite songs of all time. One of my top, like Rel said, one of my top Eric B and Rakim records for lyrics, for beat. Yo, that Kill, you described it perfectly because it's like it's ingrained in my memory of like going to block parties and shit like that. And that build, right? That same thing, that build, right? Them drums ain't even there yet.
It's just that sample and them sleigh bells that we used to use back in the
Right. So it's just too crazy. It's not even competition. And again, I love the Special Ed version, but it's sort of like when the first, because I didn't know this, but I didn't give a shit when someone told me like, oh, well, that record would belong to Dionne Warwick or Dolly Parton, and I was like, well, it belongs to Luther now. So I don't care who else sung whatever. That's Luther's record. So it's kind of like that for me.
Right. And then the crazy part is at the end with the drums, when it's just the drums, and in the video the little kid is hitting the speakers with the baseball bat. Tidbit for producers out there, Alchemist used those drums for Dilated People's joint Marathon off their Neighborhood Watch album, which to me Marathon is one of my favorite Alchemist beats ever. And that's where he got the drums from. Vern, what you got on this one?
I'm gonna be the odd man out. I'm going with Special Ed, man. I really love that album, first of all. But yes, I like Think About It, and then it ain't on the list, but I'm gonna throw out a shout to my man Ty Shaw out of East Oakland with Life Is Too Short. They use that same sample too.
All right, you going? So with that one, you still going with Ed?
Yeah, I'm still going with Ed. I'm still going with Ed. Yeah.
All right, no doubt. Kel, what about you?
18th Letter, man. Rock. That's my favorite Rakim song too as well. So I mean, I'm with the rest of you on that. That everything, the drums, like you said, the end. I love that. The video obviously is iconic. So
yeah. All right, next up, I got a Don Conway song, and it was used first by Akinelli on I Love Her off his album Vagina Diner, produced by Large Pro. Another album that I think that doesn't get enough props, probably just because
the name of the album. I'm sure.
Well, I mean, but keep in mind, this is still 93, 94. Vagina Diner isn't, I can see if it's called Pussy Galore, but Vagina Diner, isn't as bad as Pussy Galore. It has a root song, and we all know everybody loves fucking Black Thought, so Pussy Galore, I'm sure Akinelli could say Vagina Diner, but very dope album, produced by Large Pro, 93, 94, incredible album. But he used it first, then Pete and CL used it on the remix to Lots of Lovin', and then Kanye used it on Common's South Side. For me, I'm going with Lots of Lovin', mainly because of the drums. And again, what Vegas was saying, and sometimes in hip hop, this is what producers like to do, and I've learned from people like Pete and following them for years, is that build up, because it starts off with like the biz, and it's like Pete Rock, Lots of Lovin', remix, CL Smooth on the remix tip, check it out. And then that beat comes in with the drums, and CL just kills it. But I'm going with Pete and CL, but I love the way that Kanye chopped it up for Common Southside, because he didn't use it the same way that everybody else did. So that's a great example of, again, we're going back to Guru. But it's how you hook them up. And I felt like Ye hooked up that sample. Same sample, but hooked it up in a different way. Porsche, what about you with this? Again, forget it, Porsche. Well, what about you? What do you got? Do you got Pete, Akinelli, or Common?
I got Southside.
That shit was hard. I mean, it's hard, bro. That's a hard job.
Great. First of all, that album's crazy, number one, but that shit was crazy. And Common spazzed on that joint. When he would, what did he say? Tower like the Eiffel, lean with it, rock with it, black like the disciple. Yo, he went crazy. I like what Kanye did with that joint. Masterpiece of an album, and that's just one of the standout songs on that album. And I'm gonna go with that.
All right, no doubt. Veg, what you got?
I'm going with Southside. That song is that beat, that song, everything about it. I liked it a little bit more. Obviously, I like the other records, but when I first heard that, I was like, "Man, Kanye is a beast!" Like he just has different, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like how we finding out with Hit Boy. It's like, damn, does he have a style? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you just hear all these different types of beats and shit, and it's sort of encouraging, to hear. And that album, man, people don't talk enough about that album. I love that.
It's stupid. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Just solid out. Southside is dope. Yeah, I think one of the other reasons I went with Pete and CL, similar to the Pink Cookies. I'm one of the people who did not like the original Lots of Love. Like, I skip over that song every time I play fucking Mecca Soul Brother. I know, y'all know me. I'll be the minority.
You ain't alone. You're not alone.
I just not despise, because that would sound like it's trash, but I never liked that song. So when I heard this and it was the remix, I was like, oh yep, I got you on that. So Vern, what you got up?
The guy from Chicago, he went crazy on that, man. And I love how hard the guitars are. I mean, it's just, man, that song is aggressive as all get out. So yeah, I'm going Southside.
I wish we had that comment back. People be like, I miss the old Jay. I miss the old comment. How about that? Kel, what you got, bro?
I'm not going to go with Queens in this, so I'm not going to go with Akinelli. I like the Pete and CL joint. Right. I'm with you. I don't like the Lots of Love in the original. I mean, it's all right. I don't hate it, but it's all right. But I like how Pete flipped this joint. I'm going to hold you. I never heard that Common album.
Oh yeah, you gotta listen to that joint.
Wow, never heard that. Listen, but I like what Kanye did with that joint. Though that the joint is tough.
Yeah. But, again, for people watching, that's an example. If you want to say some shit like it's how you hook them up, then you gotta hook up the beat. So that's an example of how you hook up the beat. 3 Dog Night, Diamond D's Best Kept Secret, or MC Light's I Am the Light. Now MC Light used this first. But I ain't gonna hold you. Diamond's Best Kept Secret, that it's a rap for me. And I love Light. Y'all know I love her. Y'all number one female MC of all time. But Diamond's Best Kept Secret, man, that was just next level crazy shit to me. So I gotta go with Diamond for that. Porsche, I think I know where you're going, but I'm not sure with this one. So where you going?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with Diamond D. I think he used the sample better. I think it actually, like, putting those two tracks up against each other, to me, Best Kept Secret is a better song. But again, I love Light. She's on my top 10 of all time list, so let's not get it twisted. I love her. But in this particular situation, I got to go with Diamond D.
Let me say this real quick too. For people watching again, because people always ask me, Kill, fans, what's the difference? A stan would have said Light, even if she didn't believe the song was better, just because it's MC Light. A stan would have said Pete's Interlude over Dilla, just because, see, a stan can't ever not root or go against what their favorite has done. It's a unity that I wish more husband and wives had in this world, but for some reason, stans only have for their favorite rapper. But that's an example of how you're not a stan, because it's like a stan would have had to say, oh, Light. You know what I mean? So just the example for people always ask me the difference between fans and stans. That's just one of the many reasons why. Rel, what you got on this one?
I got Diamond D, man. Yeah, that was a. I remember that song, man. I remember really liking that song. That was like around the highlight of his career. You know what I'm saying? That was on Stunts Blunts. That was on that album, wasn't it?
Yep, that was the first song off of Stunts Blunts and Hip-Hop.
That album's fire. You know what I'm saying? And he was one of the dudes I was like, producer, rapper dudes I thought at the time getting slept on. Like he was nice with it. You know what I'm saying? He don't really get mentioned in that light, but he was fine. So, and I mean that song is better than the Light song to me, even though you know I like MC Light, but I think that song was better.
Happy birthday, niece. Happy birthday.
You can't hear you say happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome, babe. Babe, what's up with you on this joint?
It's another case where I'm not going with Brooklyn. That Diamond D record, like everybody said, it's just better. Like it's just all around better. As far as the vibe,
had Anthony Mason in the video. I remember the video.
It's just a way better song to me, and you know, usage of the sample. So, and you know, one thing that was a theme for me personally going through this list,
what's that?
Was a lot of the samples were this person used it in the 80s and this person used it in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of influenced in two different ways, because the Terminator X thing, that stuck with me way more because I was way younger. And this was like me really loving something in hip hop. But then, like with the Ain't No Nigga, I was way younger with
EPMD.
With EPMD, and I loved it. But I was outside,
right? When Jigga
came out,
right?
So it's you know what I'm saying? It's basically that, yeah.
All right, Vern, what about you?
Full disclosure, I'm going Light because I really wasn't that familiar with the Diamond D. So that's
okay. All right, and Kel, what about you?
Yeah, you know, we got Morgan at this time, so Diamond D was the joint. That was hitting, man. That's the joint. And like you said, Anthony made it in the video. I mean,
All right, y'all. Now here's a song that I want to talk about because it's a very strange pick for me. It's by the Ponderosa Twins, and it's called Bound. Now, Sauce Walker, who I don't know who this person is. I have no idea who Sauce Walker is. I just know it said produced by Derringer. And I pressed play and I saw the video and I was like, yo, I fuck with this. The energy that's behind this. And then Diamond, on his new album that just came out, Knots, who most people know I'm a huge Knots fan. He's a fucking alien too. To me, he is right behind. If somebody say, Kill, who's your alien after Dilla died? It's Knots. I have no idea how Knots does whatever the fuck Knots does. His bass lines alone, I wouldn't even fucking know where to start.
Knots is amazing. Amazing.
Fuck. Now, here's the weird thing about Knots. For some reason, I like his beats better than the people who get on them and make them songs. If that makes sense. Like when Knots is just playing beats, I'm like, yo, this shit sounds crazy. Can't wait to hear somebody rap over it. Then somebody raps over it, and I'm like, it's cool. And I'm like, yo, I don't know too many people. Like, I will just take a Knots beat tape. Like, fuck it, I don't want to hear anybody rap over it. Because for some reason, they don't turn out to be great songs. Some of them do. Like, the shit he does with Busta, like Knots and Busta, are like that Look Over Your Shoulders off the Busta last album.
Blue and Knots are amazing together.
Okay, Blue and Knots, okay. But like, yeah, certain people, I'm never excited to hear what it is. But neither here nor there. But I got to go with the Sauce Walker joint. And it's strange to me because Knots adds drums to it. He adds a bass line to it. And Sauce Walker, Derringer, being Derringer, literally just looped this. But I think it's the energy that Sauce Walker brings to the song. It's the video. He like out in the street in Compton. He got one of them old school boxing mics that he's talking into. And so I got to go with Sauce Walker. And that's strange to me because very seldomly am I ever going to pick a loop with nothing added to it over a beat with drums, a bass line, and produced by Knots. But it's a testament to me that Sauce Walker, the MC, just brought much more energy. When Diamond rhymes now, I almost feel like Diamond is like half asleep when he's recording his rhymes. Like, he's so laid back. And it's just like, nigga, are you awake? Veg, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that people need to pay attention because some people, I've mentioned this before to a couple of different people, that Kill doesn't just like under the underground shit. Like, remember we did that one show, you pulled out that album, R&B album with that sexy nigga on the cover and shit. Like,
Myron.
I personally don't think Vern will ever. I'm sure at my funeral, this nigga will have some way have found a fucking Myron CD at a pawn shop and somehow slip that shit in my suit jacket in my casket. Vern will never let me live that day.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have everybody at your funeral laying on the pews like Myron was laying on the bed.
yeah.
What you say, man?
But no, it's a testament to your ear, right? It's not biased towards one sound. You know, you're a music fan. And as much as you may be tied to a lot of classic shit that had Diamond D with it, because that was your era, you're looking at this new cat, and Derringer's new, right? And you're just looking like, yo, this is just hitting me more, you know?
That Sauce Walker joint is fucking crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
That joint is crazy. So, Veg, you going with Sauce Walker?
No.
Oh, okay. He said all that to say, nah, nigga, I'm going with Diamond, nigga.
I'm going with Diamond D. But I'm glad you put me on because I didn't hear that Sauce Walker shit. So
yeah, I didn't know who he was. I just saw something randomly produced by Derringer. I was like, Derringer, not with no fucking, alumni or somehow associated with Griselda.
Right.
Let me check this out. And I was like, God damn, I don't know who he is, but this nigga nice. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
of course. Oh, sorry. What did you say, baby?
Yeah, I listened to that joint first, and I was digging it. But I just like the production a little bit more on Diamond's joint for I think Portia said it, or somebody said it, that there was just more to it as far as like what, or maybe you said it, more that Diamond did with the beat.
Yeah, it was much more than Knots did it. So that's what shocks me. Because normally I'm always gonna like the song that's produced with drums and bass lines and everything.
Right.
Somebody looping something who didn't add anything, like Portia was saying, it's just a loop. There's nothing added, but the energy that nigga Sauce Walker brings to the song just kind of puts it over the top for me.
Right, and one quick thing before you move on, and maybe this is a show, but how do y'all feel about that? Because that's always bugged me out to have a producer. Yeah, sure, I know you rap, but you have another producer producing your record on your album. Like, to me, you say Diamond D got a new album, I'm pulling up for Diamond D. Because of the beats. Right. Maybe DITC got some stuff in there, but I'm not thinking,
Every summer's like that too. Yeah.
It's always weird. It's always weird to me when people do that. I'm just wondering now if sometimes some of these producers are kind of like being honest with themselves, like maybe I don't have it like I used to. You know what I mean? So let me get some new blood around me, or let me do something else. So in some ways I feel it, but it's kind of like what you said earlier. Like in the 90s, I would have definitely felt some kind of way about that. Like the Diamond D album, not produced by Diamond, what the fuck. But now in 2022, and I've heard, and the album I was really hyped for was the Diamond to Lil Kweli album that they did together. And to be honest with you, I wasn't feeling none of the beats on that.
Me neither.
None. So part of me is like, well, maybe Diamond kind of got the memo, like, not say I don't got it no more, but like I said, I was super excited, like, yo, this could be really, really dope, because I'm one of the few people who really like to live over the right production. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, Diamond D, but sometimes I get stuck, like, nigga, this is not like, hell, your New York Knicks are not the 94 New York Knicks. Like, they just aren't. You know what I mean?
At all.
In 2022 Diamond D is not motherfucking 1991 Diamond D. Like, he just isn't. No disrespect, but he just isn't. But Porsche, what about you with this joint? Which one did you like more?
Diamond D. I like that joint more. I thought the Sauce Walker joint was a little bit, I know you like the energy, but for me it was just a little bit too much. Like, it was just too much for what the beat was. I just felt it was a little out of place, and I think Diamond D did better with the beat overall. I felt like it was a better song, and then of course, like, just in general, I love the way the beat was. So yeah.
All right, no doubt. Ro, what about you?
Yo, so I want to thank you for even putting me on to both of those songs, because I hadn't heard them.
Yeah.
Both of them was fire. is close for me. I like I feel like Sauce Walker was spitting. Like, I don't even know who Bull is. Like, but he went off on that joint, man. It was nice. And then I like the Diamond John. Like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Sauce Walker. I'm gonna pick that one by a narrow margin because I like both songs. Like, I was, I don't want to, no disrespect to Diamond, but I was pleasantly surprised when I heard that song. Like, it was fire, you know what I'm saying, at this stage in his career. So I like both of them. So I appreciate you putting me on to that. But the Sauce Walker joint like surprised me. Like, I'm like, who is this bull? And then the visuals was fire, you know what I'm saying, added to it. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with him.
I'm convinced we didn't listen to the same song. I'm convinced. I just did not understand.
Let me explain something to you, Porsche. That Sauce Walker joint, when I was talking earlier about Scratch Magazine, when they say, what's a beat you, I wish I would have found that sample first. I wish I would have had, because dude, to me, it's everything about that video. That shit made my newest mixtape. And again, I don't even know who the fuck Sauce Walker is.
Wait,
I don't know if he's
the same video. There was a microphone hanging out of the clouds,
and that's what I loved about it. I love that it
hanging out of the clouds of the sky.
I loved it.
I loved it.
I loved it. It was like one of them old boxing microphones, and he's on it like this.
Okay, what's the group, the Primo group? That got
All City, Pitch Black. Yeah, they did the same thing. Yeah,
same video. Yeah.
That shit was it. When I saw that Sauce Walker, I was like, I wish I produced this. That's how much I like that song. And it was one of those moments as me. I wish I made this beat for this nigga right here. This nigga is dope as fuck. And at least over this type of beat. Now, for all I know, he's a down south nigga. Maybe he does drill. Maybe he does trap. I don't know. But that song, hands down to me. Like, it ain't even close. I love Diamond, but again, Diamond is, he ain't Boldy James, but this laid back old man flow is too dozy for me. I need some hype shit. Bro, what about you? Which one?
Sauce, to me, that dude was hungry. Like, he was rapping
for his life.
For his life, man. I ain't. How can I say this respectfully? Sauce, well, I just leave it. Yeah, Sauce.
Yeah, just leave it. Just leave it so. I think I've done enough disrespect to Diamond D without saying no disrespect. But again, here's the thing, y'all. Before y'all say I'm slandering Diamond, here's the thing. Slandering means I'm putting lies against him. I don't think Diamond D's beats in 2022 are as good as they were in 1991. There was a time when Diamond was a top 5 producer, in my opinion. I don't think that's still the case. It's just my opinion. No slander. No need to tag Diamond and bring him into the conversation, because I know you Twitter snitches like doing that shit. But that's all I'm saying. Kel, what about you, bro?
I saw that Sauce Walker trending on IG like about 2 months ago. So I had seen that before. So yeah, I'm with you. I love that better than the Diamond joint. The Diamond album, like you said, I'm not too hyped about. I like the Pasta News joint, but they got lost. But this song, I'm not feeling too tough.
All right, next up, Galt McDermott. Special Ed, Ready to Attack, was the first to use this off his second album, Legal. Then Pete Rock used the same sample for Run DMC's Down with the King. Yeah. I'm going with Special Ed's Ready to Attack because I remember when I first heard this and I was like, this beat is crazy, the sample is crazy, Ed is killing this. I'm going to just keep it a buck. I really didn't like Down with the King. I liked CL's part and I liked Pete's part. I wasn't a big fan of Run and them with bald heads. I got it. I knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to stay relevant. I get it, but it just didn't fit with my psyche. I was there in 1984. It just didn't feel right. It felt forced. So I was never a Down with the King fan. So I got to go with Diamond D. I'm sorry. I'm still talking about Diamond D. I got to go with Special Ed with that joint. Porsche, who you going with? I already know who you're going with. I apologize.
Right. And I'm glad you know. Thank you.
Right. We could just skip right over you. Rel, who are you going with on this joint?
Yo, man. I'm a sucker for the legends trying to stay relevant. And
I'm a sucker for it. Whenever these old niggas come out with one more try, I love it.
I gotta, I'm going Down with the King. And,
right.
Do you remember when they made Pause?
Yeah, when they made Pause. I remember Jam Master Jay with the dreads. I used to want dreads like that. I used to want the dreads.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, the braid, right.
Yeah. I liked the song. I liked it.
I did like Pause. I actually like Pause.
Yeah.
But Down with the King, it just because one again, the producer me, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, that's the shit Special Ed used 3 years ago. So again, for me, that's always the bad part with producer ears. It's like as soon as I hear you use the sample, it's like, nigga, like.
I feel you. Nah, yeah, I feel you. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Down with the King. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, yo, this is good. They still, you know, and this is kind of fire. I liked it, so I'm gonna go with Down with the King.
All right, Veg, what about you?
I'm going with Run DMC.
All right.
The beat is the best part about that song. And Kill, at least you weren't like me. I actually bought the album. I was like,
I got the album. You know, I got the album.
I was like, all right, and I was like, oh, this shit is garbage. Okay. I thought it would be better, but no. But yeah, I just love that beat.
Yeah.
And I think that beat made the record for me. Like, I didn't really like the video because, like you said, Kill, it was like, wow, y'all gonna blatantly look like Onyx now? Like that.
I felt like between them and the youngsters, it was like, God damn, you got a bald head right now. Like, you literally, the last time I saw the youngsters, these niggas were like 8 years old with fucking dark fades, and then the next time I see them, they like in fucking Carhartt suits with bald heads, and now they from Jersey. I'm like, God damn. And then the next time I see them again, they got dark fades again, talking about hip hop ride. I'm like, y'all are like the hip hop chameleons. Y'all niggas will follow when that trend is out to the T, man. Vern, what about you? Run or Special Ed? Okay, I see you. This nigga pulled out the hat. I see you, Playboy. Vern be having props on tap. Like, he like, who? Oh, here's the hat.
That was a defibrillator for Run DMC. For one song. for one song.
One song.
All right, Calv, I already know you're going with Queens, so that's a no-brainer. Here's a good one, y'all. And this is going to talk about R&B for a second. You got William Bell's "I Forgot to Be Your Lover." It was used by Dilated Peoples, produced by Alchemist first, and then Jaheim used it for this joint called "Put That Woman First" that KG from Naughty by Nature produced. The reason I want to talk about this one, because it's not really which one is better, because they're in two different genres, but it's what Vague touched on earlier. I think Porsche had asked, is it different like when Ashanti uses the same sample? For me personally, and I guess because it's R&B, I'm not as pissed when somebody uses the same sample, which to me is different than Puff using the whole song. So the example I'll give is SWV's "Someone." All he did was have them sing over the 10 Crack Commandments. He didn't use the same sample. He just took Primo's whole beat from the rooter to the tutor and had them sing over it, which is different to me than taking the same sample and using it like that for R&B. So I don't really have a problem if R&B producers or R&B artists use the same sample but not the same song, if that makes sense. Porsche, what about you? Do you have a problem with, and I want to say that there was some beef over this. Like, I don't know if it was Alchemist and KG, I can't remember, but there was some little tension behind this joint right here. So do you have a problem if an R&B artist uses the same sample as a hip hop person?
I do, depending on the hip hop artist and the sample. So I was pissed when I heard Ashanti use "One More Chance" remix. Why? Because that's my favorite big song, or second favorite big song ever. And I absolutely love that beat. Now, Ashanti, obviously it's more mainstream. It gets more radio play at the time. Then people start to identify that with her, not knowing that it's Biggs. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I just get kind of annoyed. I don't like, and I think "I'm Mad at Ya," Tupac's was used as well. And I can't remember who used it right now, but that was used. I was pissed about that too, because I'm like,
well, I mean, I want to say, didn't Big use that same DeBarge sample for the original? God, it was the original something. My brain, I can't think right now. Would you say, Veg?
What, "One More Chance" remix?
No. The "I Ain't Mad at You," that the DeBarge, "A Dream." Did Big use that? I'm bugging. I thought somebody used it. Okay, I can't remember offhand, but Mary. So Porsche, so with this specific one,
depends on the hip hop artist and depends on the song. Like I just it just depends for me. I can't blanket statement that.
All right, no doubt. Rel, what about you? Do you have an issue with R&B artists using the same sample, not jacking the whole song, but just the same sample?
It depends.
Here's another great example. Queen Bitch. I want to say Nasheem Myrick produced that for Little Kim. And then Mary used the same sample on I Can Love You Better. And then Kim is on there with her. But it's the same sample, but it's not the same drums. It's not the same song. Like Puff would just literally just load up the beat that Big used and then, have SWV sing over it. Mary, whoever produced that joint for Mary didn't do that. They just used the same sample. And to me, it goes back to the radio grab. It's the familiarity of it. Because I was watching the Murder Inc. thing and Irv was talking about that and he said, hey, he was like, yo, this is DJ Irv because niggas gonna be playing One More Chance at the club and now you could just blend right on into Ashanti. So basically, he's like, I'm just gonna catch the tailwinds from the DJ playing One More Chance, and the DJ is gonna have to play Foolish by Ashanti because it blends directly right in. So again, it's a money grab, and for him, he's like, yo, it's my DJ days, it's my Ron G blend tape days, or whatever like that. So Rel, what do you think?
I just, if it's dope, it just depends on if it's dope, and some songs just seem sacrilegious to do that to. Like some songs just so classic, like it kind of messed up to do that too. But if it's dope, cause I remember like y'all remember Mona Lisa? Y'all remember the singer Mona Lisa? Yeah, that song. Hers was over. What?
KRS-One.
MC, yeah, I like that drum. You know what I'm saying? I liked her song over that. You know what I mean? So I guess it just depends on if it's dope. You know what I'm saying? If it's dope, then we can rock with it. If it's lazy and forced and you know what I'm saying, you're gonna hear it in the song and then that's when it's whack to me.
Like to me, I didn't have a problem with this joint. And I love Dilated. Worst come to worst. Babu is scratching the fuck out of that joint. But then I also love Jaheim's joint. The video was dope too. Shorty from Bronx Tale, Terrell Hicks, I think is her name, was in the video. Like, I love both songs equally. I wasn't mad at nothing. Vague, what about you?
That name. Put some respect on Terrell Hicks.
Put some respect on that name. Vague, what about you?
Yeah, I like both. I like the whole idea of that sample being used for like a hardcore hip hop record, but it also sounds really good as an R&B record. One thing about, for example, what Irv Gotti did with Ashanti, and even what you're talking about with Puff, that was a mixtape thing that they started to just make records out of them. Remember, remember the one blend with the Stephanie Mills over whatever.
Speech the President, right?
Forever,
something
right?
in the way you make me feel,
right? And I just think at that time they started to make those records, and they weren't mixtape joints. Because 50 Cent was doing that. He's doing the same thing. That's how he kind of got his run going. So I'm not too mad at it because I'm like, Rel, like, does it sound good? The Ashanti thing I didn't really like. Obviously, Biggie's my favorite rapper of all time, so I just felt like he was just here not that long ago. Like it was too soon for me. You know what I mean? For that big of a record. It'd be different if they took another record off of his joint that was like, a B-side or a deep cut and did something like that. But yeah, I mean, that Mary J. Blige's whole career was built off of that shit. So
yeah.
I'm not mad at it because I'm a big Mary fan. So
yeah, no doubt. Vaughn, what about you?
I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Like Rel said, if it's dope, intros, Let Me Be the One, and then Love Sexy by Heavy D. Same sample, both of them killers. So if it's executed right, I don't have a problem with it.
That's a good
I guess the two songs that I wasn't big a fan of Jaheim like that, but I guess I would choose him out of those two.
All right. And Kel, what about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm like everybody else said. I like obviously Mary. Love the. I think of I'm going down remix with the what. You know,
Yeah, what?
Yeah, love that joint. But then Gina Thompson, what was it?
Oh, that remix joint. The first time we heard Missy.
Yeah.
God, things you do. I don't know. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I can see it both ways and stuff like that. So you know, I'm cool with it. Like everybody says, if it sounds good, then I'm cool with it.
All right, I got two more, y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging with me. We got Libby Sif, if that's how you pronounce his name. It's called I Got the. And 3 different songs are sampling this one song. And they use 3 different parts of the song. And that's why I really love this example of it's the same song, but it's 3 different samples. Like 9 times out of 10, if you didn't know this, you would never have any idea that these 3 songs all come from the same song because the 3 songs are so far spread apart. One of them is Eminem's My Name Is, another one is Jay-Z Streets Is Watching, and another one is the Beat Nuts Forever. So out of those 3 songs, which one do you think used that part of the sample best? And this is another great thing that I always say people about digging. A lot of times I've been in diggers' houses, I've been in studios, and diggers just love putting the record on the first 5 seconds. And if they don't hear anything, they go to the next song and the next song, and that's it. This is an example of you had to let that record play because it's probably a 6-minute song. But you would have... There's no way you could have told me that those 3 songs, because Eminem, My Name Is sounds nothing like Streets Is Watching, which sounds nothing like Beat Nuts Forever. They sound like 3 completely different songs. So when I found out it came, when people was like, oh, that's Libby Sif joint, I'm like, oh, the album? They like, nah, nigga, the same song. Like, it blew my mind. But off of that one, my favorite song would be Jay Streets Is Watching. When I heard that beat, it was crazy. Ski killed that beat. And Jay, that's some of Jay's dopest rhymes to me. I always wondered why they had to edit the rhymes out, but they didn't. And usually when that happens, because the person who they sampled didn't want to allow you to curse over it, but then them is cursing over it, and the Beat Nuts are cursing over it. So I never understood why that happened, but that would be my go. Kel, for you, who used that best? Eminem, Jay, or the Beat Nuts?
I like the Beat Nuts version best. The
Beat Nuts Forever is crazy.
Crazy. I love the albums, of course, but yeah, the flip is dope. Remind me of when you talk about the sample, like you said, I never heard that song before. But listen, like you said, throughout the parts and stuff. But like, not to extend it, but like Bob James Nautilus, where everybody sampled like a different part of the song that you didn't even realize was part of it. But Beat Nuts, crazy. Yeah.
This joint right here, very slept on album. I feel like the Beat Nuts are slept on, period. But this album,
yes.
Oh my God, I love this album, Musical Massacre. Vern, what about you?
I'm gonna go with Sean Carter. I ain't gonna say that was one of his best rhymes ever, like somebody did last week. You know, that's the best rhyme in hip hop history. Man.
Yo, it was so ironic that somebody sent me that tweet at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning because I was like, yo, the Jehovah's Witnesses are really out on a Saturday morning. All my TL's doing. Like, this is really what I wake up to.
Really right.
About is this the best lyric in hip-hop history in the 49 years of hip-hop? And it's funny because that person went on to delete that tweet because I'm like, that person had to eventually even know, like, come on, bro, I don't even know if that's the best lyric that came out last night. So, talk about in 49 years, nigga, it ain't the best lyric in 24 hours, but either here nor there. So you going with Jay-Z. Veg, what about you?
Well, just really quick about the whole Jay-Z shit. I mean, I think him and Beyonce are the masters at this shit. They leave these people so thirsty for content from them that when they give them something and it's not whack, they go overboard on it, right? Fucking Guru is dissecting the shit like, said, put a quarter backwards and like, nigga, what?
Bro, you ain't splitting the atoms, nigga. We got it the first go round.
Right.
No, but see, here's the problem with y'all niggas. You don't understand Vegas. How many letters in Brooklyn? It's 8. Now, if you take 8 times, and how many O's are in Brooklyn? 2. You do know Jay started in the game with 2 ounces, which is 2 O's in the street. Now, 2 times 8 is 16. How many bars in a verse, Vay? 16. Motherfucker, y'all not paying attention. So when Jay started Brooklyn, he's telling you how many verses are in a bar in hip-hop. He started that, nigga. Y'all ain't think. Y'all open your third eye, y'all. It's like Marcus and fucking Boomerang. Like, the balls on the table. Come on, man. Come on, y'all gotta add and subtract and multiply. Right. Brooklyn, 8, 2 O's, 2 ounces, 16 bars. Jay was 16 when he shot his brother. Y'all not paying attention to what Jay doing out here, man. Y'all not. And Veg, I'm ashamed of you because you're from Brooklyn. You're supposed to know this, man.
Hey, man, I can't say that he helped me clean up my credit, though, man. So shout out to Jay.
Yeah, he did. I never knew nothing about it. I didn't know what a credit report was before 444, so I have to respect Jay for that.
Thanks,
shit.
Yeah, I had a similar thing way back during the Blueprint. I think the 3 where he said he made the Yankee hat famous.
Right.
And somebody I knew from somewhere else, not from New York, was like, he did. And I was like, nigga, I've been wearing fucking Yankee hats since I was a child. This nigga just did what we were doing. Like, come on. Like, goddamn. So,
hey, man, nobody even went to a Yankee game before Jay-Z. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, the stadium was free. Like, nobody was in there. Who knew what the Yankees were? I didn't know what the Yankees were before Jay said it.
Nothing.
Exactly. They just won 27 championships.
27 championships.
But nobody wore the hat. Nobody wore the hat, though.
Oh, right.
Nobody wore the hat. It didn't matter. Nobody went to the games until Jay said it.
Right.
But, all right, so you going with Jay on this?
So, to me, Jay has the better song out of the 3.
Right.
But probably my runner-up is the Eminem joint, because I did not know that shit came from that.
It's crazy, bro.
I didn't, because when that beat came out, I was like, okay, Dr. Dre, like, because I was like, what the fuck is this? How you get this going? So it's just amazing to see what they were able, Beatnuts, what they were able to do with this one record. So I think they all kind of win, but yeah, Streets is Watching was crazy. I ain't gonna front.
I love how you say that, Veg. To me, they all win. And to me, this was just an example for people watching that, 3 different songs that sound nothing alike can all come from the same song. So for producers out there, stop just listening to the first 10 seconds of a record, because there's some shit in the middle that can, be your bread and butter. Because that Eminem part, which was the bigger record, is towards the end. So you would have got the Streets is Watching part. You probably would have even got the Beatnuts part, but you wouldn't have got the one that sold 3-4 million records. Well, what about you?
Yo, I'm gonna go with the Beatnuts, man. Beatnuts is crazy. Yeah, my man Juju said, East or West, even if you wearing a vest, they're gonna fire you with a crowbar dug in your chest. How crazy is that to start a song off with? You know what I'm saying?
And again, I know they're not the most lyrical, but there's so many Beatnuts quotables that I use. Like that nigga Juju says something like, bury your ass where God won't even find you. I'm like, God damn. You gonna bury somebody and God can't even find you? Like this nigga. Not to mention the Beatnuts have one of my favorite songs that's on my heart right now called Find That. So if you owe me money, you better find that shit. Behind that shit. So also one of my favorite Beatnuts songs. P, what about you? Which one you going with?
I got Beatnuts, but I do love that you kind of put this on the list, Kill, because again, like what everyone said, I love how they don't sound anything alike, but then that one original kind of connects them all. And again, like everyone said, I just love the different uses of the different parts of the track. And but for me, it's Beatnuts all the way.
All right. The last joint we are going to end with is an Isaac Hayes song called Bumpy's Landing. Mobb Deep used this for Back At You, which was kind of remixed for Right Back At You off the album. This was on the Sunset Park album. They used it first. Lil' Kim used it second off her album for this song called Drugs. Dr. Dre used it the third time for Explosive. Erykah Badu used it for the fourth time for Bag Lady. And Pusha just used it with Kanye for the fifth time. Well, he's coming in 5th place for his song Santeria off of Daytona. Now, for me, I've got to go with, and this was hard because boy do I love Back At You. I had to go with Explosive because when I heard Explosive off of 2001, that may be my favorite Corrupt verse ever. Corrupt to me lost his goddamn mind on Explosive. Like
you more of a bitch than a bitch.
Yo, my nigga. And that was 2000 when that came out, and nigga, I say that all the time in 2022. So I gotta go with Explosive. And just for people out there, Bumpy's Lament was only used for Mob and Explosive. I want to say then the Soul. No, I'm sorry. Explosive used the same sample, but it was the Soul Brothers version of it. So for diggers out there, that's kind of like the difference right there. Porsche, out of those 4 songs or 5 songs, which one are you going with? Bob's Back At You, Dre's Explosive, Erica's Bag Lady, Little Kim's Drugs, or Pusha Santeria?
I'm going with Mobb Deep. I just love Mobb Deep's song overall better. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Everything about it I like better.
All right, bro, what about you?
I like every song on this list. Like,
I should. You know what, real? That's a very better way to say it. I love every song on here. Like every one of the songs. Little Kim's Drugs is. That's probably my favorite song off of Hardcore.
Off her album, yeah. I was about to say
that's my favorite song off her album. So that's a good way. All these songs, and that's why I saved this one for last, because to me, you can't really go wrong with any of these songs, but to me, this is probably the hardest to pick from because all 4 of them are incredible.
All of those songs are fire. I love Santeria. I'm gonna go with Mobb Deep though. That right back at you.
Is that the joint where P says lift you off your ass like ski lift?
Ski lift, yeah.
Ski lift. Go back, big stiff, niggas. Yeah, with niggas you. Yeah.
Then had the little sound effects lift you off your ass like ski. Like that nigga hit you with the little gunshots. Like, yo, man, goddamn. When P was in his bag, there was not too many people walking the planet Earth that were as nice as P. Good.
Don't forget the video when he said that he had the little Mac 10 on his chain piece and he shot it at the camera. I was like, damn, this nigga's just nice. He just crazy. Like
P. Good God Almighty. Veg, which one you going with?
Well, like y'all said, man, I like all of these records, but when I heard Explosive West Coast shit, nigga, I was like,
oh my God,
this shit is crazy. Like,
yo, the way he set that off, the energy, just everything. Right. Oh my God, yo.
Man.
It took me years to even get to know that there was a rest of this song. Like, I just stayed stuck on Corrupt's part. Like, I would get the Warren G, Nate Dogg's hook, but then it would always come back to the beginning. Like, it would just keep coming back to Corrupt, man.
And I like, because I listened to them all again because you sent the links. And it's just when you get to Explosive, it's like, damn, I like what he did with that. Like, it's because Drugs and Pusha T joint are similar, right?
Yeah.
Because you can hear the sample much clearer in there. But you can hear that it's different. It's the same, but it's different on Explosive. And it's just an energy, man. This fucking Dr. Dre, man. Like, I know he be making niggas do 100 takes, but I think I'll be like, fuck it. You're doing one song though. But
right.
I'll do it it's a master, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, bro. I feel you. Vern, what you got, bro?
It's a battle between Little Kim and Erica.
Okay.
Kim like floated on that track, man.
Yeah.
She melted into the track. And then, Badu just took it somewhere. So that's my pick.
Funny thing, and I always say this all the time, that I thought Erykah Badu's Bag Lady was about fighting homelessness. So, there we go with that one right there. So, Kel, what you got up for this one, bro?
I can't go with Queens in this one. I Dr. Dre Explosive for me. Yeah, man. That's
Corrupt got so many great verses, but this is by far, like, I don't even know what number 2 would be. This is this is kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like this is like his best 5 verses right here.
Well,
this is a joint I would have wished I was.
I would say New York. I would say New York. His verses on that were crazy too.
Yeah, I mean,
I like
Door.
huh? No, what'd you say, Veg?
Stranded on Death Row.
Yeah, that's that. And again, all the corrupt
Before I
verses.
spit my shit, I was like, yo, who the fuck is this? Like,
Yo, all the corruption is crazy, but just
Right.
that explosive, just that energy, it was just. I would have loved to see that studio session. I would have just loved to see, and again, Veg, I don't know how y'all rappers do it, so I'm just always intrigued. Like, yo, what was in your mindset when you like walk me through this verse and how you came up with this shit? Like, did you see a nigga acting more bitch than a bitch and you just remembered that shit?
I think I know the answer to that for Corrupt, because I was like,
What?
damn, I'm cursing so much more than he ever cursed.
Yeah.
Wasn't this around the time like with the whole Foxy Brown and who was messing with Foxy? I can't remember.
Corrupt.
He was beefing with somebody like DMX or somebody like that. I can't remember who it was.
Oh,
But
what?
It was
Yeah,
somebody
he-
else. It was Foxy. Yeah, Foxy messed with 2 people, but I don't know who else.
Yeah, there was a beef.
It was
Oh,
over.
okay.
It was over Foxy. I can't
It
remember.
was over Foxy though, and Corrupt was like, I was like, yeah, this nigga's just cursing, like he mad as shit, like. But it sound hot. So
Yeah. All right. Well, no doubt, y'all. Porsche, good looking to you and your man for coming up with the topic. I appreciate you guys taking the time. This is probably the most homework assignment I had to give people to listen to all these joints and everything like that. So I appreciate y'all. Cal, let them know where they can get at the #1 Knicks fan that I know and everything. I didn't know baseball was your first love. I thought it was the Knicks. So
You know what? The Knicks are my first love, but I love baseball, the sport. I love the baseball sport, the baseball better. But
All right.
the Knicks, after not getting Donovan Mitchell today, I don't know. So we'll see if
I'm sorry, did I miss something? Like Donovan went somewhere else? Like
he got
Went to the Cavs.
Cleveland.
oh, he went to Cleveland?
Yep.
Cleveland.
Oh, damn. I ain't even peeped that. Who they had to give up?
Collins.
17 future picks and Colin Sexton.
Yeah, they gave up a lot of picks. Collins
But they
Sexton.
kept the young Will Garland, right?
Yeah.
Garland's still there. They gave Sexton.
And Mobley, right? They kept Mobley.
Yeah, they kept Mobley too, right? Yeah.
Oh,
they got-
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
They got a nice team, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice
Yeah.
score right there.
East
Right.
gonna be fire, bro. The whole East. I mean, it ain't gonna be no easy out most nights.
Well, like I don't know if you saw the report from Eddie today. Ben Simmons and his fiance broke up, so he's not going to be able to play this upcoming season because of the stress of the breakup. So I don't know how, but he still wants to get paid though. He still wants to get paid. But he doesn't feel like he's capable right now after this breakup of performing right. So he's going to take this season off. So I don't know about the Nets, but yeah, Kel, let them know where they can get at you, good brother.
At Big Kelv on Instagram and at Kelvin Davis Senior on Twitter.
All right, Vern, let them know where they can get at you if they are trying to buy a house. Where do they got to get at you, bro?
At Be the Lone Clothes on Instagram and on Twitter, B Chandler 10.
All right, Veg, where can they get at you, brother?
You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Vegas World INC, and check out my podcast, Hip Hop Twitter, which in a recent episode we featured Portia. We had a good time. It was dope to hang out and have some laughs.
All right, no doubt. Rel, what's going on with you, brother?
Uptown Rail 215 on the gram. JBen 215 on Twitter. Kill, what cakes you got on today?
I had on the Carmines.
Okay, I had on.
Ooh, them joints is nasty, bro.
Yeah,
Them joints
yeah.
is nasty. Them joints is nasty. And P, where can they get at you?
On Twitter at Cherchez La Porsche and Vegas. I had a great time on the show. I hope everyone checks it out. We definitely had some laughs, and yeah, it was dope.
All right, y'all know what it is with me, Kill 889, Twitter, IG. Me and Vern's new album, Idle Mind, still out. Me and Vegas, Willmatic, still out. That's at VegasWorldBandcamp.com, VegasWorldInc.bandcamp.com for Willmatic. Griot, VRN.bandcamp.com for Idle Mind. Porsche, I want to thank you again. We had a dope Twitter spaces this week about how to support artists. Spaces, thank you. I came up with 6 different ways for people on how they can support indie artists. So we'll probably be doing a backup of that, like to kind of recap everything that we talked about. But yeah, I will check y'all next week, man. Dope show, y'all.